Take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. I'm Simon, joined as always by my still goateed co-host, John Luke Garofalo. You keep threatening us, JL, but goatee check, day 5. It's still here this week.
I really hate that you introduced me that way, but I will accept it, and you're right, it is still here.
Is it growing on you? Is that what's going on?
I mean, yeah, it's facial hair.
I'm going to kill you. We got Tommy in the chat saying, yo, time for the show. What's up, Tommy? Glad to have you
What
in
up,
here.
Tommy?
What up, Tommy?
Tommy.
JL, so yesterday I was getting all excited for this Clemson football game this weekend, right? We're playing Notre Dame. That Clemson put out like this sick graphic, like make your own luck with a tiger stalking, and there's a pot of gold. I was getting excited for it. And then I remembered I have a wedding on Saturday during the game. It's a Saturday during college football season wedding, and I am going to miss the Clemson football game for the wedding. And you can't be mad, right? It's somebody's like
you can be mad
special day, but I'm sitting there like,
screw their day.
I want to know what happens and not just look at it afterwards.
Here's the move, Simon. You got to get it on your phone, and then you sit in the last aisle all the way in the back. And you put it inside of a book. You buy one of those books, you cut it out, you put your phone in the book, and then while you're in the ceremony, you just open up your book, watch the game. Boom! Look at that.
So great plan, but here's the kicker. We were warned ahead of time that there would be limited to no cell phone reception at the venue so that Lyft and Uber would not be an option to leave the reception. Because
so not only are they having a selfish wedding on a Clemson football day, but they're also having a selfish wedding in a place that has no reception.
Right.
Wow.
So we just got to sit there, and I'll find out at the end of the day. The audacity. And then at least it's daylight savings time afterwards. It goes back to normal, right?
Life goes back to normal.
Then we
get to watch Clemson football again after daylight savings time.
We got Maria in the chat saying, good morning, fellow people up way too early. What's up, Maria? Glad to have you in here. And Maria said, good thing we planned for a Friday, JL.
True. No Clemson football on our wedding.
We got Craig in the chat with the Grimace Gang and the Arby's Oven
Grimace
Gang. What up? Arby's Oven Mitt represent. JL, I was rewatching our curly fries, straight fries debate. And for a second, I thought about apologizing for the vitriol going your way. And then you called me stupid while we were going through
dumbass.
You called me a stupid dumbass. And all of those feelings of like I got too aggressive during that conversation just immediately vanished.
I was definitely the instigator of the aggression. I definitely brought the aggression to that one. It's, you know what, Simon, I'm sorry. I heard slander against curly fries, and I went into automatic defense mode.
You can't see what I'm doing under here, but I probably shouldn't do it on the radio, JL.
Are you
inside the oven? Yeah, it's a thumbs up right in the oven.
Right back at you, buddy. Right back at you.
That's what we're doing in here. Guys, it is time for our first segment of the day. BYOB is what it was formerly called, but now we are calling it Morning Partners. So JL,
Morning Partners. Morning.
I wanted to say morning partner to you, and I got some things we need to talk about. First thing I wanted to bring up, we've been waiting for him to come back. Not just this year, but previous years as well.
We're waiting for a lot of people to come back. You're going to have to be more specific.
Michael Thomas, I feel like we've been waiting to get back on the field for years now. And this year, again, it was the same story. Like, he'll be back next week, or maybe next week, or maybe next week. Well, now he was put on IR, needs toe surgery, unlikely to play the rest of this season. So Michael Thomas out for the rest of the year is what it's looking like.
Sucks. Sucks. It sucks. Michael Thomas, you suck. No, you're good, but I just wish that your toe was better because it's really frustrating having to deal with this. I'm sure it's frustrating for him too.
Yeah, I bet it's
Probably more.
frustrating,
I'm probably more frustrating, considering his livelihood depends on it. But you know what? My livelihood depends on it too. The same thing.
But Jail, the thing is, your livelihood depends on a lot of other people as well. His pretty much just depends on him. Like his toe really wrecks it. It doesn't matter to him if
Craig asked, will one of you donate a toe for him?
Donate, no, but sell, sure.
Yeah, not giving away toes for free, Craig.
Yeah, I'm not just handing a toe out, but I mean, name your price. Like if you're reasonable, I'll part with a toe. Did you watch the Amanda Show growing up?
Oh, of course I did. Bring in the dancing lobsters.
Do you remember Moody's Point, the like fake soap opera that they did on the Amanda Show? It was like a sketch. Yeah. And in the very first one, the dad lost his big toe, so he couldn't stand up straight. Like he kept falling over because one of his toes was missing. It was like attached to a balloon floating through space, and his balance was all off because it was missing a toe.
I missed that show.
Me too. That Moody's Point. Go back and just watch the first episode. The opening line of Moody's Point. You can find it on YouTube. Amanda Bynes walks in and looks at her dad, and her dad goes, "Do I have spiders all over my face?" That's just like the opening line to it.
Why do I feel like 80% of the time I see Tim for the first time, he could like that's the line I'm expecting. Do I have spiders all over my face?
Do I have spiders all over my face? It's just like the perfect line. My sister and I used to say that all the time. Tommy wants to know, is Michael Thomas done for his career?
How old is he? He's like 29 now, right?
He's got to be getting up there.
He's 29. I nailed it. Yeah, he's 29. No, I don't think he's done for his career. I think if he's able to heal this toe up, it's very likely a team could sign him, right? We're still seeing Julio Jones on a team. I think we could see Michael Thomas still. He was at one point one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. The talent's still there.
But what you were saying earlier about how frustrating this probably is for him. Know what I mean? To continue to put this work in, to put your body in a position that you're doing something that's not necessarily great for it, right? And then continue to get set back. I could see that frustration leading to him just saying, okay, I'm out of here. You know what? Drew Brees isn't here anymore. I'm dealing with either Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton or whoever the hell they bring in next.
At the Saints, I think
this doesn't seem like a Super Bowl team. I can't stay healthy. I'm done. I'm just going to walk away. Like in 29 is an age that would be reasonable at. Know what I mean? Like it's not like there's a long career ahead of him.
How old was Calvin Johnson when he retired? Do you remember?
I do not remember, but it was younger than people thought he would be, right?
Yeah. I don't remember how old he was though.
He retired in 2016 at age 30. So he was 30 years old whenever he retired in 2016.
Right around the same time. I could see it. It's definitely less likely that we see him on the Saints again. I mean, if you remember, it wasn't just the injury stuff. There was relationship stuff between him and this franchise, this organization, for years now. And so I don't know. It's hard for me to see him back on the Saints, but we could see him on another team, I think. He still could have come back to the Saints.
He still could. I'm just laying out the possibility. Like I could see the path for him to just retire.
Yeah,
I could see the path for him to just leave.
Maybe he retires. Maybe he pulls a comeback, right? Like in a year or two, he pulls the Bruce Arians. I'm going to retire, and then somebody offers him something, and he comes back in.
Potentially. I see Jolly Rancher in the chat. Good morning, Mom. Welcome,
Good morning, Mama Grunewald.
Glad to have you in here.
And I see Maria said, Craig with the hard-hitting questions. Yeah, Craig bringing in the heat this morning. Another sad news, Rashad Bateman out for the season, undergoing season-ending foot injury. And I believe when I heard this news, I believe I said exactly word for word, no! That was it. That was all I said.
This news hit, and my girlfriend looks at me and goes, like, oh, dang it, can you fix my fantasy team? And she hands me her phone, and I look at this team. On the team, Michael Thomas, Rashad Bateman.
No.
Rashad Penny.
No.
Elijah Mitchell. All four of those players sitting on this team. And I'm just like, Leanne, This is off. Like you
Can
have
you fix
three
close?
players that are out for the rest of the season, and then the fourth one got put on IR, but was going to come back. And then while he was gone, his team signed the best running back in the NFL. Like so on your team, you have four players who are like going to be great for you, and then just there goes
It's their work league.
absolutely obliterated. This is the one with the like absolutely
rules.
atrocious scoring. I found another one yesterday. I clicked on her matchup after I like did a waiver wire move or two, clicked on the matchup, and she had no player starting, but she had 3 points already. And I was like, why do you have 3 points? Like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I have home field advantage this week.
What? There's a home field advantage?
They
What
give
platform
home
are they
field
playing on?
ESPN or Yahoo. I can't
Heck,
remember.
would you need home field advantage in fantasy? Nobody cheering for you.
Right? She was like, how do you determine home field advantage? I was like, it's literally just the team they say is home. Like you just have the
That's
certain
just like
number
a
of home
fun
field
mechanic.
matchups.
It's just like, let's mix it up. You start with 10 points.
It just gives 3 points to one of the teams just to start the week. Like, here you go. Here's 3 points. Go ahead. And just somehow that's not the dumbest setting in that league. I'm convinced. I've started a conspiracy theory with her last night. I started asking lots of questions about the guy who runs the league and all this stuff. And I was like, Liam, like, what kind of person plays in this league? Like, is it like his close friends or is it all like coworkers?
He's just trying to get money from his coworkers.
I was like, exactly. I was like, do you feel social pressure to be in this league? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I was like, okay, well, these settings in this league are so absurd, like so absurd and difficult to understand that the only logical outcome is that he's made this so difficult to understand, knowing nobody else will be able to comprehend which players are the best. Dude's got spreadsheets out the wazoo tracking all these stats and laying out who's going to be the best player in this format. And he just robs everyone of their money every year. It's like a decent buy-in league as well. And Jail, the rules are like half a point per rushing yard, half a point per receiving yard. Touchdowns are worth 6 points, but 2-point conversions are also worth 6 points. There's a 10-point bonus for a touchdown above 20 yards.
Is he like real in it? Is he like deep in fantasy games? Is he like us?
That is his one league, but he puts all of his marbles into that league.
It's very odd. I think that could be the case, Simon. I don't think it's the only outcome. I think it could also be true that he's just weird and he likes playing a weird format. But you're right. The effect is still the same, which is that like he's making it so that like no one in that league who isn't already experienced can go seek help because you can go get advice. Like all of our advice is based off of like normal scoring formats usually, unless you tell us. And then there's a bunch of obscure rules. Like, what are you gonna sit here and comment every obscure rule?
Yeah, and I'm not going to know what that means. If you lay out those scoring settings, I'm going to go, huh?
It's like, oh, also I got home field advantage this week. And we're going to be like, what?
Yeah, I got 3 points for no reason. Seems pretty cool. Yeah. Sorry, I completely derailed the Rashad Bateman talk.
No, it's okay.
But it just blows my mind every time I look at that league. If that person's listening, I hate you and everything you're doing for fantasy football. You make my life worse.
I don't even hate the idea of you. I hate you as a person.
Rashad Bateman, though. No, that's
Rashad Bateman
sucks. No, he doesn't suck, but it sucks that he's hurt. And
I have a lot of Rashad Bateman, Simon.
I mean, and I think the process was great, right? Whenever he was on the field, he was the primary target outside of Mark Andrews in this offense. And it really stinks that he's gone down injured for fantasy, for real NFL. I'm sure as a Ravens fan, it's not fun, but
no,
you don't like to see it.
No. Does this change anything for Devin Duvernay, Isaiah Likely, Tylan Wallace, whoever else is there?
Yeah, it changes things for Devin Duvernay. He's now startable week in, week out, I think. He's still going to be a bit boom bust, but we have seen
his game
win.
Log?
What'd you say?
Have you seen his game log?
I've seen his log, all right.
Have you seen his log?
I've seen his log. I've seen his log.
Real bad.
No, whenever Rashad Bateman's been out, he's been getting more volume. Know what I mean? So I think we might be able to expect a little bit more consistency from him. But like whenever you're looking at Duvernay, he's still very much boom or bust in your lineup. But hopefully we'll get more boom with Rashad Bateman out because of the additional targets that are going his way.
I hope so. Since Rashad Bateman's out, he just still has not been able to do anything with it. The last 2 weeks, 4 targets, 3 targets the week before against Cleveland. It's just, I don't know. I'm not that hyped for Devin Duvernay. I am hyped for Isaiah Likely though. I think he definitely gets a boost here. His production will be a little more attached to Mark Andrews, but still I really like him. Just rookie, talented, upside, you know. Ceiling is sky's the
Cool.
limit. Ceiling's the limit.
The ceiling's the limit.
The ceiling's the limit, you know?
Yeah, you're optimistic but realistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic and realistic at the same time. Ceiling's the limit.
How high of a ceiling are we talking? Is this like your standard 10-foot ceiling, or we got 20-foot ceilings in this house?
Somewhere in the middle, 12 foot.
12-foot ceilings?
Yeah.
Beautiful. You know what? You don't want too much higher than that, because especially if you're buying the house in like the fall or the summer, you have no idea how well the heat works.
Tall
Yet. You have no idea how tall you're going to get in the winter.
You might get up there.
Yeah, it's bulking season, and sometimes you just get really
contract. Big. You know,
I
learned science. I took science.
Yeah, in the winter, wouldn't you get colder in the winter? Wouldn't you get smaller in the winter?
Nope, you heat up, so you expand because you got all those coats on.
Because you vibrate so much because it's so cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I also, this comment made me laugh, and then I forgot to talk about it. But Tommy said, "Oh no, I lost it." Tommy said, "I could see him just walking away," referring to Michael Thomas with a limp, of course, but could see it.
Poor Michael Thomas, just catching strays on his bad day.
Just ripping Michael Thomas. Poor guy just lost a toe.
Shut Bateman. We've got nothing but like nice things to say. The Michael Thomas, it's like it'll be sad to watch him limp away from the game.
Yeah.
Like
I saw someone. What account was it? Oh no, I'm gonna mess it up. I saw some account on Twitter that tweeted out. It was like Brian Robinson shot, Michael Thomas toe, and it was just so disrespectful. Just comparing the two. It was like Michael Thomas toe out for the season. Brian Robinson shot starts after week 4. It was just like so disrespectful.
Like it just removes every single last bit of context. It just makes the situation ridiculous. Like
it just says toe. It says nothing other than just Michael Thomas toe
out for season.
So disrespectful.
Hey, we've already talked about it. Moody's point. You need that toe.
You need that
toe. How is he expected to balance when Moody's dad can't even walk in the kitchen? JL.
He shouldn't be expected to balance.
Absolutely not. And hopefully Michael Thomas doesn't have any spiders all over his face either.
I hope not.
Tommy says DJ Moore would have looked good there about the Baltimore Ravens with Rashad Bateman out. Yeah, I think DJ Moore would have looked pretty good on the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, man. Why'd you say that, Tommy?
Oh, man.
Now I'm sitting here just thinking about how much I would have loved DJ Moore on the Ravens.
Just the type of receiver he is. I feel like he would thrive in that offense. Just Lamar Jackson just hitting them at like – he's just got like a 10-yard A-dot. He just takes it to the house all the time.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love some Peach to Deej, but Lamar to Deej, I don't even care that it doesn't rhyme. That would be so much fun.
Lamar to Deej.
Lameej to Deej.
Lameej to the Deej. Why do I like that so much? Lameej.
It's me, Lameej.
It's me, Lameej. That's Lamar's new name. That's him coming into contract talks with the Ravens. It's me, Lameej. Give me the money.
Under his new contract, he requires to be called Lameej. And they must change their colors to green. No, yeah. He's Walamiji. He's Walamiji.
Walamiji.
Walamiji. And then he wears purple, and it's perfect.
Oh, my God. Walamiji Jackson. Walamiji Jackson.
Joe, you brought up things vibrating because they're cold, and you brought up things shrinking and contracting. It made me think of a TED Talk.
Where are we going?
A TED Talk I watched last night. It came up, and it was about this guy who invented or created the first physical object to exist in a quantum mechanical state. And this was back in like 2016, I think is when it was. Maybe it was 2011. Like it was a while ago, but I was like, I don't even know what this means. And then I watched the video and he got into it. And what he did is he created a piece of metal over a pool, like in the same way that you create a microchip, like you use the same process, silicone wafer in a clean room. And then he put it in a complete vacuum, sucked all of the air out, and they were able to observe all of the individual atoms in this object, both completely stationary and vibrating at the same time, the same atom. So they were able to observe a physical object that was both vibrating
In a quantum
and
state.
not vibrating at the same time. Like they've seen it on the atom level, but this guy recreated it with a physical object, like saw it with all of the atoms and they could watch it, which is just bizarre. Like I watched it like the little explanation at the end. I was like, okay, so I'm missing some step here. What do you mean it's vibrating and non-vibrating? Like I just have a hard time wrapping my head around the idea.
Quantum mechanics.
Right. Like of course it's like the most difficult thing in the world to understand.
Yeah, it's a brain F for sure.
But I cannot figure it out. I cannot figure that out. Like I just
if you
don't think
haven't,
I'm capable.
A good show to watch is I think it's called Devs. It's with Nick Offerman. Is
Ron Swanson
in Parks and Rec. It's on FX, I believe, and I think Hulu has it if you got Hulu. But it's all about it's like this crazy drama set, and it's all about the startup that's essentially like Google that's building this like giant quantum computer, and it is trippy as hell. Very good show. Very good show.
I like an FX show too. They usually do a pretty good job.
They do. Their stuff usually slaps.
FX
Squirrel Bob
on
said
Hulu.
morning.
What up, Squirrel Bob? Welcome in.
Squirrel Bob.
Tommy said, Simon, this sounds fascinating, but I need a few more cups of coffee for it to sink in. My brain just imploded. Yeah, that was about where I was sitting last night. I was watching this video and just going like, what? Like, what do you mean it's both vibrating and non-vibrating at the same time?
Nine
what?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, that was my mouth both vibrating and not vibrating at the same time as those words came out. But here's the sentence he left us on at the end of the video. He goes, and if this piece of metal can be in two places at once, why can't you? Thank you very much, everyone. And then I was just like, you're just going to casually imply that like teleportation is possible and then just sign off. Like you're not going to explain anymore. I couldn't find an article that he had written or any further follow up. Just was left there thinking like, okay, so the metal can vibrate and not vibrate. So can I. What does that mean?
Wild. That is truly wild.
What does that mean?
I don't even remember how we got here, Simon.
I think I just brought it up, if we're being honest. I think it just came into my head and I just brought it up. I think I took the slightest like connection to it, JL. You had said something about things growing and shrinking. And then you said, I know science. And I was like, oh, speaking of science, listen to this.
That is hilarious. Texas wide receiver Brandon Cooks did not play yesterday, Simon.
Yeah.
He didn't show up. You took him in our prop bet draft yesterday in hopes that he wouldn't show up, and he didn't.
Well, it wasn't in hopes that he wouldn't show up. It was in hopes that he would show up, but be mad.
Bad. Or not play. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
like play a snap or two and then say, I'm out of here. But he didn't show up at all.
He didn't help in stopping the Eagles from winning. The game went very differently than I thought last night. I know we're going to get into it a little later, but I thought the Eagles were going to do better. They didn't do so good.
Now the Texans came out hot. They had that oh, you want to count us out energy? Know what I mean? They had the we have nothing to lose energy at the start of this game. Like Davis Mills came out, he was like, everyone's counting us out. Let's just freaking go for it. Like
Chris Moore's my wide receiver one. I don't care anymore.
I'll just freaking chuck it up. It doesn't even matter.
You can't hurt me.
Anyone can catch the ball. We can have Tegan Quitoriano catching touchdowns or however the hell you say his last name. That one. Sometimes there's players that catch a touchdown and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Or, oh my God, like I forgot about that guy. He caught a touchdown and it was one of the first times this season I've been genuinely like, who? Like excuse me, who caught a touchdown?
Quitoriano. I posted in our Discord yesterday. I saw someone on Twitter was like, when you ask your mom who directed Pulp Fiction, Tegan Quitoriano. That's so funny. When you ask your mom, how often are you asking your mom who directed Pulp Fiction? Mom,
but it's so right. It's so right.
I don't know.
It is so right. Like Quiznos is forever Quizmos. Like certain things just have their names changed when moms are in charge of saying it. It's like a special mom touch that they have on names.
It is.
Tegan Quitoriano directed Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Pippin.
Oh my gosh.
But
No, but
I think the bigger news story yesterday, or the thing we talked about, was that the Eagles are now 8-0, which means that is the first time in franchise history they just beat a record. Is it called beating a record if no one had the record before? Yeah, I guess so, because their streak before was 7.
right, they had the record before.
Yeah, that's right. That's how stuff works. That's how numbers work.
That's how numbers work. It's like a personal best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you beat your PR in a race or something.
That's pretty impressive, though. 8-0, starting the season. Good for you, Eagles. Good for you.
You think they're going to drop the next 8 and finish the season 500?
I think they're going to lose pretty soon. Yeah, I think it's going to happen for sure. What are the chances, or if you were putting the odds for FanDuel Sportsbook at the Eagles going undefeated, the only team to go undefeated apart from the 1972 Dolphins, what odds are you giving?
Oh, and you're saying so this includes a Super Bowl victory then?
Yeah.
If you're saying that, because there was another undefeated team during the regular
Queen's
season,
Gambit.
but they lost in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, like just to win the Super Bowl, they're sitting at like plus 500 odds. That's astronomical to win every single game for the rest of the season and go straight through the.
No other team has done it except for one.
Right, like you could set that at like plus 6,000, plus 7,000, and not even be worried about it, and that's probably even too low.
Plus 15,000.
Like, don't get me wrong, they have a decent schedule rest of season. Like, they have the Commanders, they have the Colts, the Packers, who are struggling. A couple, like 2 games against the Giants, a game against the Cowboys, and a game against the Titans. Like, those are their tough games left. But Bears, Saints, Packers, Colts, Commanders, like, they don't have like a wrecking ball they're running through at the end of the season. They just have a couple tougher games. They'll probably drop 1 or 2 of them, but this Eagles team is in prime position to grab that number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like, I fully expect them to be the number 1 seed.
Tommy in the chat said plus 5,000. Better House said 0.0.
0.0 percentage chance. Also, Squirrel Bob with the Let's Go Eagles. It says helps me feel better about the Phillies the past 2 nights.
Yeah, Eagles have looked good. Another big news story yesterday, time we talked about it yesterday, the Washington Commanders, Daniel Snyder thinking about selling the franchise. But what came out yesterday is that Mr. Jeffrey Bezos is looking into buying Washington Commanders, which has been a rumor for a long time. I think since he has the Washington Post, he's got that giant Amazon facility in Northern Virginia. This has been a rumor that's been going around a while, and it's getting renewed, obviously, with these rumors or these news with Dan Snyder selling the team. You think Jeff Bezos is going to be the guy that does it, the billionaire that does it, Simon?
I mean, he's got the money and the ego to want to be an NFL owner, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a certain ego to be like, I own an NFL team. It's mine. I play with it.
This is my team.
So I think Jeff Bezos has that level of ego. He's got the level of money, and he's obviously got the desire to own a team. So I could see it. I think he'd be a better owner than Dan Snyder. Like, I think he would have the best interest of this franchise in mind.
Literally the lowest bar.
You know what? Yeah, it is a low bar. I'll go a step further. I think Jeff Bezos would be a good owner of an NFL team as far as owners go. I think he would do positive things for the program. I've been impressed with what Amazon has done with Thursday Night Football. Like, I've enjoyed the Amazon Thursday Night Football broadcasts.
Yeah, no, I have too. They're decent. They're decent. I feel like they add a bunch of extra stuff though. And I feel like it doesn't act like they're going to learn that just is not going to work. It's not going to move the needle. They're like, ooh, new music afterwards. Oh, we got a concert in the middle of it.
Yeah, whenever they kept promoting like Megan Thee Stallion performing after the show, I was like, that's cool and all, but I turned it off
immediately. Yeah, like I like Megan Thee Stallion. I turned it off immediately.
Yeah.
I'm too tired. I can't deal with that. Watch on YouTube tomorrow.
Exactly. That was my exact thought, JL. I was like, oh, I'll just YouTube Megan Thee Stallion live and I can watch her like festival performances. I don't even have to watch her Amazon Prime performances.
Right. Which is just like, it's not going to be even that good it's not like a concert. It's like a promo.
Nah. Yeah. No, they'll figure it out. But the broadcast itself, really all it is for me is Prime Vision. Like, Jeff Bezos has my support because of Prime Vision to buy this team. He's going to get Prime Vision overlaid on the field with a projector during the games at the stadium is what's going to happen.
I watch Prime Vision now every time it's Thursday Night Football, and it is an extra step that's like fairly annoying because I have to like sometimes switch between TV and my phone if I'm like taking Rosie out, that sort of thing. And it's always like 10 extra clicks to get to the Prime Vision one. But I like it. But as I'm watching it, I'm just like, man, they give you so much useless information. Like they just give you so much information that is just like, that's cool. That does nothing, but that's cool. Am I wrong?
I like all the information. I like all the little tidbits. Like whenever they pull up like the goal to go guide for like the team, like the Eagles goal to go guide, like inches, go 1 yard, go 2 yards, go 3 yards, toss up, 4 yards, toss up, 5. Like
That's
you
how-
know,
I didn't see
we
that.
kind of figured like they put that on the sideline, like depending on the yardage line that they're at. Now some of the other statistics are a little bit useless, but what I do like is I like the route tracking. I like watching the
Route
routes as they
tracking is
run on
the
the field. That's a lot of
coolest.
fun.
Is the coolest one. The one that's like above their head, that's like telling you the distance or the speed, is not super useful. I don't think it's just there. It's like
I
impossible
like
to
the
read.
release time. I like the release time over the quarterback. Like I feel like that provides some good information, right? We're seeing how quickly they're getting the ball out of their hand, either due to the pressure that they're seeing or the type of offense that they're running. Like the Eagles were moving fast yesterday at a certain point, and it was interesting to watch how quickly their offense was going.
Yeah, Scott Vision here said Prime Vision greater than normal broadcast, in my opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Anytime you get
fully
some
agree.
computer vision and some stats in there, like hell yeah, it's gonna be better than just the plain yellow line broadcast. I completely agree with that.
100%. Also, I see Scott coming in here giving us with the update about the Boston Scott play last night for his son and saying it did not work out, but his other options are guys like Horvath, Burkhead, Bolden, Abdullah, Angumbawale, Zach Moss, Travis Homer types. The process was good. The process was good. And there were a couple runs last night where I thought maybe they were going to get Boston Scott more involved, but then it just ended up not happening. Kenneth Gainwell got the extra carries, and Miles Sanders was the dude for the Eagles.
They're like chopping down trees at 7:30 a.m. outside my house. Very
That's
weird.
weird. They should wait till at least 8:30. We had a question in here from Brian. Joe, Brian wants to know Leonard Fournette and Jerry Jeudy for Waffle.
Leonard Fournette and Jerry Jeudy. Is this PPR?
Yeah, PPR.
Then I'd definitely go Waffle.
You definitely go Waffle in PPR.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I get the bump up for Waffle and PPR. It's got a lot more area to catch the syrup as it's poured in. But it just doesn't quite do enough for me to get Leonard Fournette and Jerry Jeudy. Maybe if the second wide receiver was a step lower, I'd be willing to make that move. Now, let's assume that this doesn't go through for Waffle, and so you try to get Waddle instead with Leonard Fournette and Jerry Jeudy. Would you send Leonard Fournette and Jerry Jeudy for Jalen Waddle?
I would. Yeah, I think that's a fair trade. I mean, Waddle is a considerable upgrade from Jeudy. Leonard Fournette, there's a lot of risk there. There's a lot of risk. I know a lot of people are worried about him. I don't know that it's the best time to trade him, but I'm okay with this trade. Go get yourself a Waddle, especially if you are a contending team. You're going to win.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if it's the best time to trade him because the person you're trading with is giving you proper value. If they're sending Jalen Waddle back in return. So I am 100% cool with that trade. Joey also in here saying, for someone who increased their IDP footprint, the highlighting of defensive players on the field with Prime Vision is what I value most. For sure. As someone who like primarily pays attention to the offensive side of the ball, but wants a better understanding of the defensive side of the ball, I love the highlighting of the defensive players on Prime Vision.
Me too.
Joe, wasn't there an additional rumor attached to Jeff Bezos buying the Commanders that Jay-Z was potentially involved?
You had told me that yesterday. I did not see the reports of that, but that is very intriguing. And I might be bought in. I might be Washington fan again if Hove is the owner.
Yeah, there we go. It's from TMZ, so it's got to be true, JL.
It's got to be.
Jay-Z, Jeff Bezos, interested in buying Washington Commanders, and we're told a partnership between the men is on the table.
You know what we should do?
So apparently
we should text Dak Holt, our good buddy Dak Holt, and be like, "Is this legit?" He used to work for TMZ.
let's shoot him a text, get the inside scoop. But also, Jay-Z already has a partnership deal that he signed with the NFL in 2019, giving him power over the halftime show, along with social justice initiatives. So it wouldn't be out of nowhere that Jay-Z gets involved with the NFL for the first time.
He's gone back and forth. I remember he like turned down the halftime show a couple years ago. Like he's got a. I don't think he and the NFL are on the best terms all the time, but you're right. He does have a hand in a lot of stuff.
Man, can you imagine like if you're interested in buying the team, knowing that like you're going up against Bezos and Jay-Z together trying to buy it? Like that's an intimidating team to try to compete against.
Just one of them I'm giving up. Like combining.
Right? Like the powers of Bezos and Jay-Z combined are a little bit too much to handle.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I see Bradley Chubb got extended yesterday, Simon. He got traded to the Dolphins 2 days ago, right before the trade deadline, and then they extended him to a 5-year extension worth $110 million in incentives, which can boost it to $111.25 million. Big deal for Mr. Bradley Chubb, the towel stealer.
Yeah, they took a franchise left tackle, which all conventional knowledge says not to trade away, and turned themselves into a playoff contender and now secured those pieces longer term, right? Like they've got Bradley Chubb secured. They drafted Jalen Waddle. They traded for Tyreek Hill. Like they built a playoff contender by trading Laramie Tunsil. And this Bradley Chubb extension just opens that window a little bit wider for them, keeps it open a little bit longer. That's exciting for the Dolphins fans. Dolphins fans have to be hyped about this.
Yeah. Scott Fish said Chubb extended is a funny headline. It is. It is Chubb extended.
Way better than Chubb cut.
Oh, yeah, that would not be good.
I hope we don't see Bradley Chubb get cut. That would be brutal. Dale, do you think this Dolphins team, because yesterday I saw a quote from Tua saying that like they're not afraid to talk about Super Bowls in Miami. Like with this Bradley Chubb extension, with him coming over to the Dolphins, the success they've had so far. Do you think this Dolphins team is a potential Super Bowl contender this year? Like, do you think they can compete this year?
I think they absolutely can compete. I think they can. They've already shown they can compete even within their division. Going against the Bills, I think they can give the Bills a run for their money this year. I do think Bills are the better team, just on paper, but as we've seen, like earlier this season, it's not always everything.
Who do you think is more likely to win the Super Bowl, the Baltimore Ravens or the Miami Dolphins?
I think the Ravens. Oh, God. I was going to say because of Roquan Smith, but the Bradley Chubb, I don't know. Honestly, I think they're pretty close.
The reason I bring it up is the Ravens are currently at plus 1,400 on the FanDuel Sportsbook to win the Super Bowl. The Dolphins are down at plus 2,800, right? Like it seems like a little bit of a disparity. And I'm with you, Jay. I kind of view them similarly whenever it comes to like their chance at winning the playoffs or winning the Super Bowl.
You know what the difference is, Simon, is the Ravens can lock up a playoff spot a little more easily, I think, than the Dolphins can. I think that's probably what accounts for the odds. I think just taking merit alone, they're pretty even.
But the Ravens can just win their division. The Dolphins, it seems unlikely that they win their division with the Bills there.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, Jay. That makes a lot of sense. Guys, coming up today. Oh, what's up, Jay?
I was going to say just that Ravens have too many injuries. Yeah, they are dealing with injuries right now. But who knows? That might not be, they might be able to get some guys back here before the end of the season.
Absolutely. Guys, coming up, we got some real talk coming your way. Jay and I are going to answer some questions just to get to know us a little bit better. And then we will be recapping Thursday night football and going over our prop bets from last night. We have Vinny Iyer joining the show a little bit later today as well. And then we will be playing hypothetically with our friend Tim and then answering your questions all day today throughout the show. So if you've got them, throw them in the chat. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
And with your BSN time out, and today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, that is the futures market for the upcoming college basketball season. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, why don't you kick us off with some favorites that you think are still good bets to place?
Yeah, let's go with national runner-up North Carolina, plus 140 to win the ACC, plus 900 to win the national championship. Core 4 players are back: Baycott, Love, Davis, and Black. Coach Hubert Davis entering year 2 with confidence. The loss of Brady Manick is tough, but Northwestern transfer Pete Nance will help soften that blow. Let's slide over to the Pac-12. Some West Coast action, plus 190 to win the Pac-12, plus 1,600 for UCLA to win the national championship. Coach McCrone has done a fantastic job building up this powerhouse program. At 2 stars, Tiger Campbell and Jaime Jaquez coming back, as well as 2 5-star freshmen, Amari Bailey and Adam Bona. This team is loaded and ready to make a run.
Love the Bruins this year. I'm going to go for the repeat. Kansas Jayhawks plus 215 to win the Big 12, plus 1,300 to win it all. It's a young team, right? They lost a lot of pieces from this title team last year, but managed to retain Jalen Wilson and DeJuan Harris and reloaded with a bunch of 5-star talent. Might take a minute for this team to click, but ultimately Bill Self is a proven winner. Really like them for those 1,300 natty odds. Other side of the coin, underdogs and values. Mike, where are you going to get a little bit of juice in your futures bets?
Yeah, let's go to the wide open Big Ten. Ohio State plus 1,100. Loss of EJ Liddell and Malachi Branham to the NBA was tough, but can be relying on a lot of freshmen early on, like Bryce Sensabaugh, Tanner Holden, and Sam McNeil coming through in the transfer portal. His team has question marks, but they may have answers by midseason. Let's slide on over to the ACC as well, plus 2,000 for Notre Dame. They finished tied for second in the ACC last year. They returned a veteran squad, includes lethal three-point shooters Cormac Ryan, Dane Goodwin, Nate Lejeski. Incoming 5-star guard J.J. Starling could be the X factor.
Plus 2,000 to win the conference. They came in second in last year. I love that call. For me, I'll go the Tennessee Volunteers plus 3,000 to win the national title. This is a team that won the SEC tournament last year. Rick Barnes, we know, can recruit, so he has an absolutely loaded team top to bottom. Guys like Triple J and Vescovi are legit difference makers in this league, so love them at that plus 3,000 price. Last category, player of the year. Mike, who do you like to bring home the Wooden Award?
Let's go with the long shot, Keontae George from Baylor, plus 6,000. Freshman No Strangers winning the National Player of the Year. He lit it up in the Global Jam this past summer. He's a 3-level scorer, plus defender, one of the top NBA prospects.
I'll go chalk here. Armando Baycott, plus 900. We talk about the Tar Heels as a favorite to win it all. Baycott has a lot to do with it. Last year, 16 and 13, almost 2 blocks per game, and can legitimately take a step forward on this loaded Tar Heels team. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked to the Bettor Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage. Green Screens Media.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. JL, I love a little JL giggle in the morning. It makes me light up a little bit. Oh, stop it.
Stop it.
Okay,
you don't like a JL giggle in the afternoon?
No, I am tired by the afternoon, and every time you giggle, it pisses me off. I'm just like you. No, truly. Sometimes, like as the day wears on, it gets to be 4 or 5 p.m. Like people start doing things that I know are normal and pleasant, and I start thinking like, I hate you.
Oh,
like the guy just sitting at the bus stop on his phone having a normal conversation outside my house. I'm sitting there thinking like,
shut the hell up.
How rude. Whereas like it's just a guy going about
inside trying to watch TV.
I'm trying to watch House Hunters International, and you're out there having an important conversation with a family member at the bus stop prior to getting onto the bus.
30 feet away.
I just missed how many bedrooms were in this house in New Zealand, and I'm gonna have to rewind 10 seconds.
Thanks. Now my day is ruined.
Thanks a lot. My day is ruined. JL, I know I watch too much House Hunters International now at nighttime because specific real estate agents will pop up and I'll go, yes, I love this one. Like I have developed like attachments to different real estate agents that are on House Hunters International episodes in different cities.
You're such a weird dude.
The girl in Amsterdam, there's a blonde woman in Amsterdam who has like some attitude towards her clients, and she's the best. They'll say like, well, we want a 3-bed, 2-bath for $450,000. And she'll say things like, well, you're just not getting that in Amsterdam, so you're going to have to get used to it. And then she turns and walks away. And like, I love her bite. She's got the perfect real estate energy.
Is that a Dutch culture thing, or is she just a boss?
She's American and lives in the Netherlands and helps other Americans find their houses.
So is this the American in the Netherlands type of thing, or is she just a boss?
She's a boss, I think. She's just a boss. It has nothing to do with anything. She's just a boss real estate agent.
That's what I thought.
That's what you thought. Guys, It is time to get into some real talk. JL and I are going to answer some questions to share a little bit more information about us as people, as dudes.
It's like the worst pitch of that segment ever. We're just gonna
Okay.
We're gonna tell you a little bit more information about us.
Okay, JL. Change. You do it.
Jets, fighter jets, explosions. It's time to talk about real talk. Could be about us, could be about anything. Who knows? Watch out.
What's that song like? I want to talk about me. Want to talk about
no,
you.
no, we're not singing that. We're not singing that. We're not doing that this morning, Simon. Please.
Well, that's what we're gonna get musical intros. I'm gonna find a different song every time that like describes us talking about each other, and then we're gonna do that for real talk. Before we get into that, JL, though, I loved the explosions. Bronson had a question for us. Says, should I trade Lazard and Sutton for Deebo Samuel? Bronson, I'm making that move. I like that move. You're consolidating. Lazard's been great whenever he's been healthy. Sutton's fortune goes with the Broncos, and it has not been good for the Broncos recently.
Sutton's fate is linked to the Broncos' fate.
For better or for worse, he is linked to Russell Wilson and these Broncos, and recently it's been worse.
Oh, for worse.
Deebo's
for worse, all right.
Get Deebo. Are you doing this move, JL?
I'm looking at this. I wanted to look at Alex's trade value charts, his market trade value charts, just to see what is the market value on this trade here. So Sutton and Allen Lazard are both right next to each other at tier 7. Sutton's 14. Lazard is 13 trade value points. So 14 plus 13 is 27. And then the other one was Deebo, who's in tier just at the very bottom of tier 4 here at 29.5 points. So just looking at the value alone in a vacuum, this seems like a pretty fair trade. And I would also do it. Most of the time, if you can consolidate, I'm about it. Given the two guys, Lazard and Sutton, so much uncertainty going forward. Deebo, there's some uncertainty. There's some injury concern. But, man, that offense. Whoo. Got CMC now. Got Ayuk. Let's go.
Give me pieces of it, especially when that piece is Deebo Samuel. That makes it a little bit more enticing. I'm with you, JL.
Yeah, go get Deebo. Make this trade.
Full excitement. Okay, back to real talk with Front Yard Fantasy.
Big boys, small house.
Was that better, JL?
That was so much better.
Small boy, big house.
Mismatch.
The classic comedy misdirect, little and big. Ha! Big is supposed to be big, but now it's little.
Yeah, big guy in a little house or little guy in a big house.
Oh, look at this very large man with such a small cup. It's so funny. But look at this very small man with such a large cup. Also so funny.
Still funny.
Okay, Jay.
That's basically our whole show. Is just, that's like the entire hypothetically segment.
And that has been Real Talk with Front Yard Fantasy.
Thank you for joining us. Pew pew.
What's our first Real Talk question, JL?
All right, Simon, tell me, what's your favorite video game of all time?
This is a loaded question. This is an absolutely loaded question, JL. There is
loaded full of what?
You didn't ask me what the best video game of all time is. You asked me what my favorite video game of all time is. So, man, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give two answers because there's an answer that just has to be said. Breath of the Wild is my favorite video game of all time. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I was trying to go away from it, but I can't. It's perfect. It's incredible. It's puzzly. There's combat, but it's not overwhelming combat. It's explorative. And then the thing that is so perfect about it to me, like the one thing that makes it perfect, is how beautifully they render the distance. Okay. Like it always makes me want to see what's further away. Every single time in that game, no matter where I go, as I'm walking towards something, my eyes go to like 10 different places of, ooh, I want to go there. Ooh, I want to go there. There's not enough pins in the game on the map for me to label all the places I want to go. I constantly run out because while I'm running to one, I label 3 more and then I change directions and I forget why I labeled this on the map. And I can just truly get lost.
This describes you as a person.
I can get lost without advancing the plot at all for like 3-4 hours and just run around in this game and have the time of my life. It's a masterpiece. They created something that fits perfectly into my game playing style, and I love it.
Yeah, I like the distinction. I also love Breath of the Wild. We talked about it on the show before, but we both got really into it about like a year and a half after it came out. It was like delayed, but we both at the same time got super into Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I just love a game. It's hard for a game. Like most games don't keep my attention nowadays. I just have too much going on. I got way too much work. So I just can't focus on like learning. Like I bought Elden Ring, played 15 seconds and never played it again. I've done that with like 5 games this year already. I bought Madden like 3 months ago and played it for the first time like 2 days ago. But Breath of the Wild is so good. The fact that I got so into it and immersed and just like loved explore. I just always wanted to climb. I just wanted to climb high and then fly. No matter what, I was totally content climbing high and flying the whole game.
I had 4 hearts, like the number of hearts you start with, until I had 3 full stamina wheels in that game. Because I just wanted to be able to climb the tallest mountains, and I'll run away from the bad guys. Like if they can one-shot me, who cares? You got to get me first. Because I can climb. I'm just going to climb and fly. You can't get me. That's 100% my strategy as well, JL. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh shoot, I probably need some life. Like I can climb. This is good for all things, but actually advancing the plot. Because I now have to fight this boss, and I have 4 hearts.
I'm so bad.
I'm so weak, but man, can I climb. But it doesn't help you much whenever there's like a giant lightning demon trying to kill you inside of an elephant.
So you said Breath of the Wild's your favorite.
But I think the game I've logged the most hours on, like the game that got the most amount of time out of me, was Pokemon Soul Silver, the remake of like Gold and Silver that they came out with. I had like close to 1,000 hours put in on that game whenever I finally hit a breaking point and deleted my save file and pulled away because I got a little bit too obsessed in high school with that game. But it was perfect. The Gold and Silver are the best Pokemon games because you can visit 2 entire regions. Like once you finish Johto, you can go back to Kanto. You can get 16 full gym badges in Pokemon Soul Silver, and you get to have a Pokemon follow you around. It updated the graphics on one of the classic games. It's just Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon. It was the bomb. But just to illustrate how much I got into it, I ran a shiny shop on the Nugget Bridge forums on the internet where I had over 300 different shiny Pokemon.
Like I ran a Nug shop on the Nugget store forums.
No, it was some Nugs on the Nug Bridge, JL, and that's as far as it got.
Some shiny Nugs on the Nugget Bridge web forum.
Any questions?
Pretty self-explanatory.
The Nugget Bridge was like a competitive Pokemon forum, and there's shiny Pokemon in Pokemon. If you haven't played, they're like approximately 1 in 5,000. The odds are a little bit more specific, but they're just different colored, and they're very rare in Pokemon, and people collect them. And so I started collecting them. I started like finding them and trading people for them, and then I would clone them and then EV train the clones. And then I had a shop of hundreds of shinies, untouched, untrained, or fully trained, level 100, that I would trade to people for more shinies and more shinies and more shinies. And one day when I deleted my file jail, I had over 300 different shiny Pokemon in those boxes. And I was like, oops, I haven't done much else besides Pokemon in the past couple months. And so I deleted the file and moved on with my life.
That's where those years went.
That's where those years went.
For me, I think my favorite game of all time, I mentioned it actually earlier in the show, or not earlier in this show, but earlier this week when we interviewed Amon Green. I think it'd be Gears of War 1.
Really?
That game is just so special to me. Like it just was like such a fun part of my childhood, or like my formative years. It was like right when just like the online gaming industry was really booming, and that game was just perfect. It was so flawed, but like it was perfectly balanced in its flawedness. It was just so much fun. I don't think it's the best game. I think there are plenty of other games that I got really into, maybe even played more than Gears of War, but that one is always special in my heart for sure.
I never played Gears of War. I never played it. I always got it confused for God of War, which is a game I had for PS2. Like I had that game, and so every time people would bring up Gears of War for years, my like memory mixed up the two, and so now I have to like, no, not the game God of War that I did play. I've never played Gears of War, but been on my list. It's been something that I feel like I need to go back to and play because so many people just love that game.
I think you can't go back to it. It won't be the same. I think part of it was like the online community at the time. You know what I mean? Like, and I doubt that that's still there. And like they have newer versions. I think I think I saw somewhere they're coming out with one, but they're not quite. They don't capture that magic that first one really did.
Shout out to the Tony Hawk games as well. Those were my childhood. Those were.
I could shout out so many games right now.
like I truly only played Tony Hawk from the age of like 8 to 14. Like
So
besides
good.
Pokemon on my DS, we played Tony Hawk so hardcore. It was a ton of fun. Joe, you want? Go ahead.
He said I'll throw RE1 and RE8 as two of my favorites.
Some Resident Evil in there. Keith's a
Thank you for
Resident
saying it,
Evil
'cause
dude.
I had no idea what the acronym was. I got into I played Resident Evil 5. I got like really into it then. But you're just so slow in that game. Feet.
And Tommy said Final Fantasy 6. 3.
A lot of Final Fantasy fans I've met. Never really got into them.
The only thing I hold against Final Fantasy is my roommate was very into it, and watching him play video games was the most painful experience on planet Earth. Luke could not just the indecision in every action that he made in the game was infuriating. Like you sit there and you're just like just do it.
The whole game is decision.
Exactly. And that game is so decision based. Like I couldn't watch it. I literally couldn't watch it. It was awful.
All right, let's hit another one of these prompts, Simon, before we hit the top of the hour here. What is your most memorable moment playing sports?
Ooh, most memorable moment playing sports.
I got one if you want to think through yours.
You go first, JL. Yeah, you throw yours to me.
There's definitely there's a bunch of moments that stand out. I played football a bit growing up, but really my main sports were baseball and basketball. I played those very competitively. Probably one of my biggest memories of just like, there's two really big baseball memories, but the one that I'll tell here is Cal Ripken has this little facility that's based off of Camden Yards, a little bit north of Baltimore, in Aberdeen. And he basically built a little league replica of Camden Yards. And so you can go and go to this tournament over at his facility, and you got to play in this like little replica of like a real field. It's super fun. As a travel baseball player, that was like a good thing. It's kind of like, a few steps down from Cooperstown, but same type of vibe.
Yeah. And
so we were just getting wrecked. This whole tournament, we're getting wrecked by these teams. They're so good. We didn't win a single one until the very last game. There's a bunch of fields around the replica. And so you're like playing on those. Every team plays one in the replica. So we're on the outside field and we're about to win. It's 2 outs, full count, bases loaded. And if they score, they're gonna beat us. But we're up by 1 run. So this guy keeps fouling it off. Finally, I'm playing third base. I'm like, all right, he fouls it off again. I'm going for it. And so of course he fouls it off again. I go running towards the side, jump up, catch the ball. And then there's like these 2x4s that separate like out of play, extend from the backstop. Slam into that. And my leg catches it. And I go flying into like the coach's wife who's like taking stats and stuff. Absolutely cut open my knee or my shin. I'm sorry. I still have to this day, I have this massive scar there, but I held onto the ball and won the game. And it was like the greatest moment. I was like, yeah,
in Camden Yards, hang on to the ball.
Only win of the tournament. We're all like so sad the whole time. And then that was the last game. We won it. Absolutely wrecked my leg. And then told everyone at school I got shot because it was just like a circle scar. And they believed it too. Dumbasses.
That's awesome. The story wasn't cool enough that you like won the game for them. You had to add that you got shot onto it.
Yeah, I don't know why. In the 7th grade, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I got shot and won a game in Camden Yards. No big deal.
Like messing with people at my school, I guess. I don't know.
It was a busy weekend. We got work and grind in the chat. JL and Jolly Rancher with the hooray. That's a sick memory, JL. I can see your face lighting up as you tell that story. Like I can tell that memory is like truly like that felt so good in the moment.
Yeah, there's definitely streaks where I was just so bad at baseball and I was like not good for my team. So it was nice to have like a couple of those nice memories.
Absolutely. And I guarantee you were better at baseball than me, Jail. I never got on base from a hit, just from being walked
Just
in
the
the one
walk.
season I played baseball.
What's
Just
your
the
most
walk.
memorable moment playing sports, Simon?
Man, the problem is, like, the first one that came to mind is a sad one, and it was my last wrestling match senior year of high school when I lost at state, and I just was like, well, I'll never wrestle competitively again. That was the first one that came. Like, I remember just sitting on the mat afterwards, back in the locker room, and being like, well, shit, like, it's done. Know what I mean? Like, no matter what,
Yeah.
it's just my wrestling career is done. And it was weird. It was a weird moment, but
Yeah.
a more positive one. There was a kid I was wrestling. I had no business wrestling against him, and he was way better than me, but we were in the semifinals for a tournament, and he was up by like 2 or 3 points, and he was starting to stall. He was just holding on to my wrists and just like not letting me do anything. Just he had wrist control. And then I got called for stalling. Like, they put a warning on me. The ref
You were
gave
like,
me
"What?"
and I was so mad. And so I was like, and he said I was backing up. Like, you're backing up. You're backing up. It's stalling. I was like, I'm just trying to get my freaking hands away. And I was like, you want to see backing up? I'll show you backing up.
That's when you should have just ran
I go
forward
back
with him.
Oh, Dale.
Just
I
pile
went back
driving.
in there. He's holding my wrist. I was like, fine, I can't use my wrist. I'll use my freaking head. And I start headbutting him in the head out of bounds. We
Are
go
you
out of
allowed to
bounds
do that?
twice. Absolutely not. They stopped the match. They stopped the match when both of our foreheads were bleeding. They gave him a penalty, or they warned me for headbutting, but did hit him with a stalling for backing up as well. And then the kid stopped backing up and stopped holding my wrists. So it worked out.
Yeah.
And I beat him.
Learned
I
his
won
lesson.
the match. Won the match. Made it to the
There you
final.
go.
And I just that moment stands out in my mind. It wasn't supposed to be a match I could win, and then this dude just like him and the ref unlocked my trap card. They made me so mad.
You made
They-
it happen.
they
That's
just,
such
like,
a good
picked
story.
me
You just
off.
overcame it. I love that.
Tommy said, Jail, if you were a good friend, you would put on a singlet and tussle with Simon so we can wrestle
I
again.
will absolutely never wrestle Simon. I can say that with an absolute guarantee because it is terrifying to me. I don't, Tommy. I made those same jokes before I saw it, but once I saw it, no, I am absolutely not wrestling Simon.
Honestly, that might be one of my favorite sports memories. Like, low key, Jail, at the mountain
Absolutely
weekend.
dominating the pledge as you
The-
wrestle.
The dude was a Clemson offensive lineman. He and a track athlete at Clemson. We're at Mountain Weekend. He thinks he's gonna kick my ass, and then I throw him in a headlock in front of the entire group there.
It was terrifying. Simon just went into turned into a different person. This is crazy.
was
I was
awesome.
like, I knew you were good at wrestling, but I was like, oh my god.
Guys,
now Andy
come-
Behrens just suspects it.
Now he expects it. Guys, coming up, we are going to break down this Thursday night football game, recap it for you guys. And we've got Vinny Iyer joining the show a little bit later today as well. And then we're going to play some Hypothetically. I'm excited for some Hypothetically. And then, of course, answering all questions that you have for us. So if you've got some fantasy football questions, make sure to throw them in the chat. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry, okay? Talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball starting, I'm going to bring up.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at like Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know
again,
it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not gonna start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing. Okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right?
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play. What? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins a playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. And we are joined now for the rest of the show by our great friend, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
Joey.
Thanks for joining us.
27 carries, 139 yards. Guys, I want to move to like a higher stage with my level of commitment to Dameon Pierce.
You ready to propose?
I think I'm ready to propose marriage. I was so elated and so happy last night, and happy for my friend Jay Wall because the Birds won. But Dameon Pierce is great.
He is. Jay and I were talking about that a little bit this morning. He just looks like a very not good for his draft capital, not good for a running back on the Texans. He looks like a very good NFL running back. Like he looks like the real deal. I'm buying in. This game is
good luck in drafts. Yeah, good luck in drafts this season coming up, trying to get him before me because I might be going first round for him. Like he's just.
It just looked like he had this like balance. I don't know if that's like the right term, but he just looked like he had complete control over like his body and the motions that he was going as he's running, which is just always impressive when you see. I think we talked about this recently with who was it? It was someone had like an amazing catch. I think it was Jacoby Myers, and he like shifted positions and turned around, adjusted, and then caught the ball on like the opposite side a few weeks ago. And it's kind of like that. It's just like, how do you have such control over your body? That's insane.
It's his ability to kind of shed defenders for me. Know what I mean? It seems like he gets hit and he doesn't go down. Like he is able to shed these defenders like the best running backs in the league, like a Nick Chubb out there. He looks like a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good
wonderful time to be alive.
It's a wonderful time to be alive.
It's probably a good time to be alive. Yeah, what a time. We get to watch Dameon Pierce. You thought you were lucky getting Tom Brady. Well, now you get to experience Tom Brady and Dameon Pierce in the same lifetime. And LeBron James. What a day. What a day. Also, Joey, right before you came on, we were talking our favorite sports memories. And Squirrel Bob in here saying, I have some good memories playing on actual teams, but I think some of the best are like the pickup games of baseball, basketball, and football with my friends and brothers. You're 100% right, man.
That's true.
100%. Like before school, me and my neighbor we're like, okay, we can fit in a game of basketball real quick in the driveway. Like, make sure you're ready 10 minutes before the bus and let's play real quick. Like, those are some of the happiest memories.
Can I tell my glory days story really quick?
Let's hear it.
So I affectionately known in parts of Montana as the bad boy of Montana Christian School boys basketball.
Really?
In 8th grade, I played for Emmanuel Christian School and was in the game. I had like 12 points. It was actually a good game for me because I was usually just a rebound guy. Because I've been 5'11" since I was in like 6th grade. Like I just haven't grown since then. But I caught a pass and the team crowded around me and started like fouling me really hard. I was getting slapped very hard on my arms, and the referee blew the whistle and called me for traveling. after I was getting slapped, and I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Now, this is a Christian school, so dropping an F-bomb was like, I was the talk of every Christian school through Montana. Like, someone said the F word. I picked up the ball, slammed it down, and it went up and it hit the ref in his chin and gave him like, I don't know if he bit his tongue or what, but he had blood. Double technical ejected out of the game. Yeah,
You wrecked
double
this
technical
ref?
ejected out of the game. My coach is like, "Get out of here." He was so mad.
Go.
But the one person that was on my side was my dad, because he saw that I was just getting fouled incessantly pretty much the whole game. And so my dad reamed me out for what I did, and then went in the parking lot and reamed out that referee, who actually turned out to be one of the on the other team, the coach's dad, or the dad of one of the players. That's my glory day story.
That's sketchy. So it sounds
I
like
was
he
not
deserved
good
it.
at basketball. Yeah, I flopped. It was embarrassing.
That's
I was
awesome.
like a Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman like combination. I just got
You-
rebounds and just made a scene.
You dropped an F-bomb and then assaulted a referee and then said, "I'm
Yeah.
out." Bad boy.
I didn't mean to hit
out.
him. Like, I slammed the ball down and it hit him right up in the chin. I mean, I felt pretty good about it, but
Oh my God.
pretty
That's
good
an
about it.
incredible story, Joey. I don't know what I was expecting, but whenever you said you were the bad boy of Montana Christian boys basketball, I did not think that's where it was going.
I came into school.
Scott Fish and he says, "Oh man, the bad boy of Montana Christian boys basketball, the one from Emmanuel Christian schools.
I know,
Your tales
right?
are legendary."
They are legendary. I walked into I was one day of in-school suspension for my performance because it was a
What?
school-sanctioned event. Yeah.
You got
then
suspended.
I showed up
in
the-
school suspension.
Yeah.
Oh, in school suspension sucks. It's the worst.
You know,
My dad made me
out of school suspension's the bomb, though. I remember
play video games.
I got it for breaking a fence, and then I had to go to school to like sign up for an exam as well. So, but while I was there, the principal delivered ice cream to everybody that was signing up for their exams, like as like a surprise. So what they did is they sent me home from school for 3 days. I got to catch up on all of the work that I hadn't done so far throughout the year to save my grades, and I went to school for 20 minutes and got ice cream. So that was my 3 days
You're
suspension.
like, yeah, I'm gonna make this a regular thing.
Maybe I'll break
Yeah,
a fence at Golden Corral once a year.
Yeah,
think I
my
had to read.
in-school suspension was sitting in a freaking room with Patrick, the security guard. Dude had no personality. Wouldn't even joke with me.
I had to sit in the office of like the leader of this school cult church.
The
whatever you
leader?
wanna call it.
King?
Leader of the
I think he
school
made me
culture.
read like the entire book of Isaiah as part of my punishment. And I'm like, in my
I don't know
mind,
that
I'm
one.
like,
Is that long?
don't make me read the Bible as punishment. Like that's not the way to like get this across, my friend. But okay. So, and then I went to a public high school the next year, and I
And all
am
was good.
today, so.
All was good after that. Guys, we had a Thursday night football game last night. We've alluded to it a little bit already, but the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Houston Texans 29-17 in Houston, advancing to 8-0 for the first time in franchise history, and the last undefeated team left standing. The Houston Texans are now 1-6-1 so far this year, not looking so hot for them. But we had a prop bet draft that we did yesterday based on the results of this game. I think we should go over the results of that. We'll start at the top. JL, you drafted Miles Sanders 7.5 receiving yards. You took the over on that. Bonk. Miles
Big ol'
Sanders
bonk.
had no
0
receiving yards. I don't even think he had a target yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope. He was solely used in the run game, so that was a swing and a miss.
I then took Brandon Cooks under 55.5 receiving yards. He did not play, so we are handling this as a push. It will not count for me or against me. My other two are now worth 1.5 points apiece. Their value is going to go up on my other two, but Brandon Cooks did not play, so it's a push on that one. Joey took the under of 45.5 points. Bonk. The Texans showed up and actually scored a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? That game started. We were talking a little bit about it, Joey. It looked like the Texans just had like, "Oh, you don't believe in me" energy. Like they came out to like, "Oh, you don't think I can do something?" And then
Hold my
pretty
beer
quickly we were
energy.
like, "Oh yeah."
I was putting my kids to bed and I got a text from someone about something I'll bring up a little bit later. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me that the Texans are winning 7-0. I just didn't expect it.
Oh, that was like the
At
very
halftime,
beginning
it was
of the
tied.
game. It was like the first
Yeah.
drive. First drive, you're like, what
Yeah.
the heck?
I know. I didn't expect it.
Joey, you then took Dameon Pierce over 2.5 receptions. Bonk.
Bonk.
You could have, and I remember you were like, I want to take a Dameon Pierce line, but I'm not sure I can take the rushing yards.
I should have.
Oh boy,
Should
should
have
have taken the rushing yards.
You should have
139 rushing yards for Dameon Pierce.
He was a magician out there last night.
He was a pure magician, like the good kind, like the guy who
Yeah.
makes it to the finals on America's Got Talent. That
David
kind of
Blaine.
magician.
Sleight of hand, and then you look in your pocket and there's $5. That kind of magician.
I like
You
the
know,
ones where they
like,
make you
whoa.
think it's going to be sleight of hand, and then all of a sudden, like things catch on fire. You know what I mean? Like they misdirect you with the misdirect, and then just full on like explosions. Those are my favorite. Or the quick change people. Dameon Pierce is a quick change artist. That's what he is. The ones where like they throw confetti in the air and then they're in a new dress. That's the best. Those are the number one best magic acts in the world.
Can you imagine if there's a football player who was also like just had to mix his magic hobby into his game?
Best
game play?
touchdown
Just,
celebration
pulling
ever.
quarters behind defensive players, pulling flowers.
I'm
out of
imagining
their pocket.
they have a plant in the crowd with the bag of like glitter confetti for the quick change, and we see Dameon Pierce run over, grab it, throw it in the air, and then he's got just a full ball gown on, and he just starts like doing a dance in the end zone with one of the
switches
other
players'
players.
helmets out when they're about to tackle him, and they're like, "Whoa, how did you do that?" He just runs in the
He
end
just
zone.
hides like live rabbits in all their helmets while they're in the sideline.
Was there a Dameon?
Reach this place.
Was there a Dameon Pierce rabbits out of hats prop last night, or did we miss that one? I don't think anyone took
It was
that.
3.5.
3.5 rabbits out of hats. Hit the
Yeah,
over, the hard over.
My next prop was Jalen Hurts over 1.5 pass touchdowns. I took the over, and that did hit. Thank goodness. Jalen Hurts throwing 2 touchdowns last night. So I got
Finally.
one right. It's going to be 1.5 points for me on that one. JL, you're next two. You hit on both of them, both your Davis Mills props. Davis Mills over 1.5 rushing yards. And Davis Mills had
decent amount.
18 rushing yards. So he did more than enough for you. And then over half an interception for Davis Mills. And he threw 2 interceptions. So you were good to go on that one. Both of those right for you. So Joey, with the 2 you got wrong, unfortunately, you're already going to lose because JL got 2 right. Comes down to whether or not I got this one right. AJ Brown over 4.5 receptions. Seems easy, right? Seems like he had to have hit that.
Yeah.
touchdown.
Bonk. He got 4 receptions for AJ Brown. I did not hit
Good
that
line.
one.
That is a good line.
Good line. And then Joey, your last one, Jalen Hurts over 42.5 rush yards, did not hit either, which means Joey, you and I are the losers of the prop bet challenge, which means we are going to have to pay out on our impression bet.
Yeah.
JL,
I don't think I'm. Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't think you're what, Joey?
I don't think I'm going to be able to do Chewbacca. I think the public demands someone else to do that.
JL, who are we doing?
So we asked yesterday on the show for suggestions, and the suggestions that I wrote down were Chewbacca and Miss Piggy. So
Okay.
we can go with that if you guys want. That's what the chat wants.
I don't know how well a conversation as Chewbacca is going to work, but I will more than gladly do another Chewbacca.
We already did a
impersonation.
Chewbacca one, so we'll take out Chewbacca. I'm cool with that.
I was going
So-
for redemption. I don't get redemption on Chewbacca.
If you want redemption, here's
I
the
want
thing-
redemption.
Here's the thing, Simon. Are you confident you can achieve redemption here?
So, yes, but I haven't practiced at all. So I have, but for some reason, I have the utmost confidence that this time is going to be better. Like this one's gonna sound more like Chewbacca. I just have a feeling. It's like back freshman year of high school when I ran cross country, and I would spend 2 weeks just swimming in the pool that was on our track because no one watched JV run. And then I'd go to the race and I'd be like, I know I haven't practiced at all, but I'm setting a PR. I don't care what happens.
But
I am
I'm
going
ready.
to. I don't need practice. We're just going to make this happen.
Dustin had a really good idea. He said you should just get a running list of suggestions so you can practice and then draw them out of a hat on the day so that it's still somewhat of a surprise. I love that suggestion. I
That's a
think
good idea.
We'll probably do that.
That's a good
I'm writing
idea.
that down, Dustin.
We're going to
Good
start collecting
suggestion.
them in our Discord today. Start collecting some suggestions in our Discord. We'll throw a thread over there, and then we'll put them all in like on a wheel that we spin or something like that.
Oh,
and do
that's
that
gonna
before
be
each time.
That's gonna be fun. That's a good one. All right, so Miss
Okay.
Piggy and Chewbacca. So Simon, you want redemption here? I'm willing to grant you an opportunity at
Okay.
redemption if you would like. And Joey, are you okay with Miss Piggy?
I'm very okay with Miss Piggy.
That was a little bit concerning the way you said that.
Yeah, it was.
Joey's like, I'm quite familiar with.
No, I've watched it. So I know what I need to do.
So the scene in which you guys are doing this impersonation or acting out the scene, you are in a library. Miss Piggy is the librarian. Chewbacca's trying to find a book, and he's getting very frustrated that he can't find this book, and he needs help. Go.
Let me get some water.
But you have to be quiet. This is a library. Don't forget.
May I help you? I'm sorry. We do not have that book in stock. Do you know about the Dewey Decimal System? I'll show you your way. I'll show you your way to your book. Excuse me? You have over $500 in library fees?
Okay.
Chewbacca, what are you doing? Pay your fees, bro.
Chewbacca doesnn't have any money. He's waiting for Han to come in and bring him some.
Tim said, get this man some water.
I think the problem was too much water. Actually, there was like a gargle effect going on in the back of my throat as I was trying to get that out.
It sounded like you was
be honest with me.
Washing.
Be honest with me. Was it more recognizable as Chewbacca?
It was more recognizable, but I don't know if that was because it was more like Chewbacca or the other one was just so bad.
Okay, you know what? But I'll take it. It's just progress.
But it was better.
It was better, right? See, I knew it. I told you I was gonna nail
it. I love my face in that one because I'm just like, you could just see me processing like, what is happening right now?
Tommy said, sounded like Chewbacca getting a rectal exam. Well, maybe it's a dual.
You know what that
library.
sounds like, Tommy?
Tommy's like, absolutely. He's like, no, but I know what it sounds like with a real hairy ass. Pretty much the same thing, right?
You guys want to know a fun fact about Miss Piggy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yoda, Miss Piggy, and Grover all have the same voice. It's Frank Oz that does their voice.
Really?
Or he did it through like the 70s through the 90s. So if you hear Yoda and you just do a little higher pitch, if you can do Yoda, you can do Miss Piggy.
Ooh, that needs to go on the wheel. You gotta add Yoda to the impersonation list. I'm making it right now.
You're just
and
doing
then Grover. It's the
I'm
Grover is like the same thing.
Grover, Miss Piggy, and Yoda, all the same voice actor. Incredible. Well, Joey, you nailed Miss Piggy, and I'm sorry you had to do it with a being rectally probed Chewbacca at the same time. But appreciate you continuing the scene anyways. Jalen Hurts looked pretty solid last night, guys, continuing his run of being one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. Threw for 243 yards, adding 2 touchdowns through the air. And then not as much on the ground as he's been getting, but they didn't really need him to. 23 yards on the ground. Joey, do you think Jalen Hurts is a legitimate MVP contender this year? Like, does he deserve to be up there in talks with all of these other players that are being talked about for the MVP?
Absolutely. His team's 8-0. He's leading them along the way. He's like ignited this offense. Like, Jalen Hurts for me is probably going into next year. I might take him over Josh Allen. Sorry,
really?
Buffalo Bills fans in the chat, but I'm loving everything I'm seeing out of Jalen Hurts, and it's just exciting.
What about him gives you the confidence to like put him over a Josh Allen? Is there something like about his game that adds that extra element for you?
It's honestly the dependability. I mean, even last night, I mean, you see Josh Allen, the games get out of hand with the Bills, and yeah, they're putting up a lot of points. I just don't. It seems like Hurts got some more rushing upside as well.
I think
he's currently ahead, Josh Allen.
Yeah,
right. Like
100%.
But yeah, they're 1 and then 2, so they're both fantastic options. I'm with you. It's the rushing upside really is what does it for me with Jalen Hurts. Man, Josh Allen's good too. Jalen Hurts just looks fantastic. I love. A lot of people have this mentality that NFL players are like have a static level of talent and then it just stays there, right? They're good or they're bad, they suck or they're awesome. And what you see a lot of times with these NFL players, they're developing, right? They're people, they're learning. Josh Allen, great example of that. Jalen Hurts, another fantastic example of that. I love to see that in players. They're like developing. They're able to fill those blind spots in their game. It's really impressive.
This is the type of game last night that we were going in yesterday. We're saying this might be like kind of a down game for Jalen Hurts. And he turns in. No, it wasn't down. It wasn't disappointing. 2 touchdowns, 243 yards, no interceptions, very efficient. And then, hey, let's give you an extra 2.3 points on your fantasy line. And that's hard to walk away from.
It is.
And it wasn't even home field advantage giving him those extra 2.3 points in fantasy. It was just real fantasy points. Just
Joey, I don't know if you were listening earlier in the show, but Leanne is in a league. Simon's girlfriend is in a league, work league, and you get home field advantage. You get 3 points if you are the home team in the fantasy matchup. What are your thoughts on this?
Dumbass league that you were telling me about the other settings?
Yes,
like earlier in the year.
Yes,
like
it's the same
dissolve
league.
this league. Like I don't know what the hell's going on with it. Like I'm angry now that I've heard about this. So 3
It's
points
absurd.
for home field advantage.
It's absurd. And the worst part is it's the roster restrictions. It's you can only have 4 running backs. You have to have 2
that's what it
defenses,
is.
2 kickers. So like you have to have 4 wide receivers. Like it's just everyone has to have the same exact roster construction. It's an awful league.
You know what? Here's what I want to do next year, Simon. I want you to get the settings from that league, and I want us to actually play in like a side league like that.
That is a good idea. We should
Okay.
do just
Let's make it best ball so we don't have to
stupidly
manage
annoying
it.
format.
But I wanted to see how annoying the scoring is.
It is absurd. Like it is absolutely a 2-point conversion is worth the same amount as a touchdown. So a 2-point conversion is worth 6. A rushing yard is worth 0.5 points. 0.5 points. 12 rushing yards is worth a touchdown.
I feel like most people don't go and explore these like kind of there's people who get like super into these like crazy niche game formats, but I think it would be fun if we just go and explore like some of the more innocuous just like settings. We get like Scott Fish in there because I'm sure he's played every single one.
Oh, he's played every setting.
Home field advantage. We'll throw in some like 3 tight end league. See what happens.
I'm down for it. I am down for it. We already talked about Dameon Pierce on the right side of the ball. I said the right side of the ball, like on the box score. I'm looking at the Houston Texans. They're on the right.
Not the wrong side, that's for sure.
But on the wrong side of the ball, there was a running back over there on the Philadelphia Eagles, Miles Sanders, who showed up 17 carries for 93 yards, averaging 5.5 a carry and a touchdown on the ground. Miles Sanders looks great out there, doesn't he? He's a good running back.
Looks so good. Listen, Miles, I've disparaged you for years. I haven't given you a fair shake. To be honest, I didn't even watch you play. I just made assumptions, made judgments. I watched you play. But you looked fantastic last night. And I'm sorry for all the bad, mean things I said about you and the way you look.
Jalen, I'm sure he accepts your apology. Miles Sanders, I apologize for nothing because I've always believed in you. And it's really great to see you out there succeeding. It's really great to see you out there succeeding. And great that the Eagles are finally giving you that work. Even in a game where you guys got up in the second half, they didn't go to Kenneth Gainwell. They gave him a couple carries, right? Boston Scott got 1 carry, but Miles Sanders was running the show, and he just looked fantastic out there. Joey, who's the better runner? Pure runner, Miles Sanders or Dameon Pierce? Say it. Say it.
Say it. Say it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dameon Pierce for sure.
No, I mean, believe me, I would rather have Dameon Pierce on my teams, but like if I need someone to get me, 6 yards, I'll pick Miles Sanders, and I don't like saying that.
If you need a player to
I
get
really
you,
thought it was good. Like I think it's close between these two guys, though.
Yeah.
If I need someone to give me 31 yards, I'm going with number 31.
If you need an NFL player to get you 31 footlongs, who are you going with?
Tim Biakabatuka. He's retired, but I feel I'm confident in him.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I'm going Stephon Diggs.
Jail, how are you with how they're using Miles Sanders right now? How are you guys viewing him rest of season for fantasy? We've known he has the talent, but now it looks like he's getting the opportunity. He's the main back here. Is he approaching that RB1 range, top 12, or is he like a high level RB2 for you guys?
He's currently an RB1 PPR. He's the running back 11. I don't think that's factoring in last night's game either. Not that it was like he had a good game last night. 17 carries, fantastic. It wasn't like the most insane fantasy performance. He got 15.3 points in PPR format. he's the main guy there. I think I would put him in the mid running back 2 category rest of the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's about where he belongs. But he's got that RB1 upside, especially in this
On
heavy
that
rushing
offense.
ops. Yeah,
He's an RB1 based on matchup. Like last night, I had him as an RB1 against the Texans because that matchup absolutely says it. But there might be a week where he's going up against, a better run defense, and I'm going to have him around 15 to 18th at running back. But
yeah, I mean, but
he's
that being
definitely a
said,
start right now.
their schedule rest of the season really isn't very bad. Like he's got a pretty good schedule rest of the season. So you may just be an excited Miles Sanders manager if you've got him on your teams. Also, Scott Fishing, you're saying, I'd rather have Pierce. I'm confused why Joey hates Dameon Pierce, but hey, we all have our things.
I don't know.
I don't know how to
Honestly,
get the picture up. Go ahead, Joe.
So I thought you loved Dameon Pierce, but then yesterday, I usurped you.
I'm gonna send our producer a picture of the T-shirt I bought last night. I bought a Dameon Pierce T-shirt.
Yeah, after the game, after he played well, you bandwagon.
Joey's gonna kill you, JL. Joey, the look on Joey's face, he is going to fight you so hard.
Like I honestly, because I think the Texans jerseys are ugly. Because I would have bought a Pierce jersey by now. I just don't like the look of them. And then I was hoping, okay, hopefully like their Thursday night jersey will be cool. They haven't released it yet, and it was just the red one all over again. So I'm like, I'm not buying a jersey. And then I found a shirt, and I'll send the picture to Keith. And it's very much like a mid '90s like teeny bopper Dameon Pierce T-shirt, and like I can't wait to get it.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm I'm glad you finally came around on Dameon Pierce, Joey. It's
I hate you.
Welcome. It's nice to have you over here.
Yeah.
Hal in the chat said I traded Sanders post-draft preseason. Got Elijah Mitchell and Tyrion Davis Price. He said it was my little brother I traded. Man, that sucks. That hurts. That's a rough trade.
Oh, that is brutal.
But I mean, do you like your little brother? Because I mean, now you're a cool big brother because you gave him, some wins. So that's
Hal
nice.
said I'm 2-6.
I'm 2-6.
He probably doesn't like him enough to make his team 2-6 because of that right there.
Probably not.
And he said, and playing his little brother this week. So just double rough over there. On the Eagle side of the ball, the player with the most targets, we know AJ Brown didn't hit his 4.5 reception line, but Dallas Goedert had 9 targets for 8 receiving yards, or for 8 receptions, 100 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, Dallas Goedert's firmly out of that glob, right? He's an every single week start for fantasy football.
He is what we were hoping TJ Hawkinson would be.
Good way to put it. Do you think we see TJ Hawkinson turn into the TJ Hawkinson we thought he would be, but Dallas Goedert is now being, now that TJ Hawkinson's in Minnesota? That was pretty clear, right?
That was pretty clear. I knew exactly what you meant. And I think that he could. I don't know if it's gonna happen immediately, but I think that we will see that. I am hopeful for TJ Hawkinson on this new offense.
Yeah. Guys, coming up, we have our friend Vinny Iyer joining the show, and we're going to play a new game with him. And then we've got some hypothetically coming up after that. And then, as always, we're answering your fantasy questions. So if you guys have fantasy questions for us about this weekend's matchups, make sure you throw them in the chat. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
There was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it. And then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah,
it's like we have
like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring up the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. right? Like he's coming over to spot it, and it's like every other time the player's just like, here you go, here's another thing to juggle.
On call with Dr. Roto.
If the Giants don't win another game this year, A, I'll be shocked. But B, I'll still think that they're better than they were with Joe Judge. Much better. Because I think Brian Dable's got a lot out of this team already. And I'm seeing what this team could be. See, that's the problem with owners and general managers. I see Nathaniel Hackett and I see a guy who can't get it done. I see Matt Rule and see a guy who never should have been hired. Disaster right away. Sometimes a good coordinator in the NFL is better. I don't even say sometimes. Most of the time, a good coordinator in the NFL is better than a college coach because the NFL coordinators, they know the system. They've been there. They've played. They've been around it. For the life of me, I don't know why Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job yet. Deuce Staley is going to get a job. Somebody's going to hire that dude. When you've been around the game, you understand it. These college guys come, they don't know it.
Join the show with one touch of a button. It's Sports Talk 3.0 on Bettor Sports Network.
To the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We are going to be joined shortly by our friend Vinny Iyer from Sporting News to play a new game that we are calling quotes. We are calling quotes. Jail, do we have another name for this quotes game?
No, it's called quotes. You know how we have the game made up quotes?
This one's real ones?
This one is essentially the same premise, but instead of making up or misattributing the quote, you got to guess who said it and what the context was.
Quotes.
Non-fiction quotes. So we got made up quotes segment. We got a quote segment.
And we have Keith in here coming in with a potential name for it, Jail. Quotey McQuote Face.
I like that one. I kind of like that. We should change
throwback,
it. And then
throwback to the boat that was named Bodie McBoat Face. Do you guys remember that?
Boat Face, yeah.
It was like some government had like a new like military ship or exploration. Like it was like an official vessel for some like agency. It was very important, and they put it up to a public vote what to name it, and Bodie McBoatface won in a landslide vote.
It's a good name.
It wasn't even close. So Cody McQuoteface, I'm fine with it. I like it.
Yeah, so that should be
also,
fun.
I see Fantasy Dog in the chat. What's up, Fantasy Dog? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Woof, woof. And guys, we had a question come in the chat as well.
Okay.
This one came from Brendan. Brendan said, someone dropped Darren Waller. I have a decently high waiver priority. Should I try to get him? My current tight ends are Higbee and Hawkinson. I can trade away one of them. What should I do? So, Joey, if you're sitting with this team, you've got Hawkinson and you've got Higbee. Darren Waller's on the waiver wire. Are you trying to add Darren Waller?
This is why I hate waiver priority. I'm in a few leagues that have waiver priority still. Please switch to Fab, everyone, because that waiver priority really is important. Because of who you have, I'm probably not going to use it on it. And I hate that I can't, because I would want Darren Waller over probably Hawkinson rest of the season, because I think Waller will come back. So I'm probably not going to, and I hate to say that.
I'm with you. Like I think because of burning the waiver priority, you can't make this move. Guys,
like a 6, go ahead and burn it. But if it's like a 2 or a 1, you got to hold on to that.
You got to hold on. Guys, joining us right now is Sporting News, Vinny Iyer. He's an NFL and fantasy football writer over there at the Sporting News and a host at the Locked On Sports Network. Vinny, thank you so much for joining us again, my man.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. A little bit later, but we're here.
It's all good. We are happy to get started. Glad to have you. What'd you think of that game last night?
I was a little bit disappointed. I thought the Eagles could get a few more points in that one to take care of the number, but that's what the NFL does to us. And I was really impressed with Damian Peterson losing effort. And he just gets it done every week, and I always think he's not going to do it. And then the Texans, give them credit. They're a pretty good run blocking team, not great in other areas, but Damian Pierce has been pretty solid every week. I mean, I think he's had one bad game this season, but otherwise he's been pretty good here since it's been him and a little bit of Rex Burkhead. But since that week 1 weirdness, Damian Pierce has been rolling.
He's been the dude. It has been awesome to watch him out there getting the opportunity and then running away with it. Vinny, we wanted to play a game with you today while you were on here today. We played some Jeopardy with you the first time you came on. For those who did not know, Vinny is a former Jeopardy champion, so he's a man of the games, and we love playing games here. So the game we brought you on today is a game we are calling Quotes, or workshop title, Quotey McQuote Face. JL has brought a bunch of quotes, and we have to attribute them and say why it was said. Is that correct, JL?
That is absolutely correct. I'm gonna read the quote, and I need you guys to tell me who said it and what they're talking about. I will determine whether I will give you a point if you are correct. But you got to have both elements.
So JL,
fair enough.
Are these football related quotes, all of them, or not?
We will see.
Okay, so just in context, gotcha. That throws a curveball in this. That throws a curveball in this.
Does.
Also, Fantasy Dog in here going, hell no, you mean Jeopardy for real? Yes, hell yes, we mean Jeopardy for real.
Real Jeopardy.
Oh, that got me, Fantasy Dog. Yeah, Vinny's a real life Jeopardy champion.
That was a great reading of that statement too, Simon. You paused when there was
delivery
spaces in the punctuation. It was really good.
Thank you. I've been practicing. Joe, you
ready
to get into it? Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get into it. Vinny, we're gonna have you go first, followed by Joey, followed by Simon.
Come on.
Followed by Simon.
Okay.
You know what? The scoring on this is each quote you're gonna have 2 points available to you.
Okay.
1 point I will award if you get the person who said it correctly, and the second point I will award if you reasonably nail the context. All right. So Vinny, we're gonna start with you. Here's the quote. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I don't get the ball. I don't know. Who said this and what's the context?
This could have been Keyshawn Johnson, but this in modern times, this is Elijah Moore, and he was complaining about Zach Wilson. I know this one. So
you are absolutely correct. This was Elijah Moore, and he was talking about his chemistry with Zach Wilson. So, Vinny, you are going to get 2 points on this one. Well,
good job,
done.
Vinny.
Oh,
nice softball for the guest. I get it.
I am going to be so bad at this game. As soon as you said Elijah Moore, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. But then before you said that, I was like, LeBron James. I don't know. I was just sitting here I'm
LeBron James.
JL's about to hit me with some Roman philosopher quotes. It's gonna be great. Can't wait.
Oh, well done, Vinny. That's going to give you 2 points here.
Good job,
and
Vinny.
Joey, you are next.
Okay.
Okay. Joey, here is your quote. This is embarrassing. We can't have that. That right there is embarrassing, and that should never happen, especially with that group of guys in that locker room.
I don't know why the first name came on. I was Dan Campbell talking about the Lions.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Bonk. I'm sorry. That was actually, Simon, do you know it?
Jim Harbaugh.
Nope. Vinny, you know it?
The only thing I can guess if it's from this last week is Josh McDaniels, but
it's a good guess. It was a good guess. That was actually QB Derek Carr after the Raiders were shut out for the first time since 2014.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
You were on the right path, but
now that you say that, it makes sense.
This is embarrassing. We can't have that. That right there is embarrassing, and that should never happen, especially with that group of guys.
Was he talking about himself? I mean, really, that's what happened.
Vinny, whoa.
So Vinny, let's expand on this before we get into our next quotes here. How are you feeling about this Raiders offense? I know Tommy in the chat is just desperate for us to talk about them. Are you hopeful that they'll be able to turn it around this season?
I don't know what they're doing. It's just been pretty bad. I mean, that matchup was made up for Devontae Adams, and I don't know. I know he was sick last week, but 1 catch for 3 yards. I mean, seems like bad overall play here. And Derek Carr was really bad. I was watching some of it, and I couldn't believe how bad he was. And the fun fact of the week is Jarrett Stidham had more fantasy points coming off the bench than Derek Carr in that game. That's not good.
That is not good. Simon, how are you feeling about this Raiders offense and Derek Carr?
I mean, I'm confused. It seems like it should work. Like it seems like, okay, Derek Carr has looked good. Give him a great wide receiver, put it in this offense with a phenomenal running back. Seems like things should work. Like you've got Hunter Renfrow, you've got Devontae Adams, you've got Darren Waller, you've got Josh Jacobs. You drafted Zamir White and Derek Carr has looked great in the past. You throw Devontae Adams into the mix, and now they get shut out. Bad football team. I'm confused, and I'm accepting the reality 8 weeks into this season that they may just not get it together. This may just be a consistently bad offense for the rest of the year, regardless of all the pieces that we want to be successful on this offense. It's Josh Jacobs seems like maybe like, obviously you're going to keep throwing Devontae Adams in, but Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams are the players you trust. And even them, you can get stinkers from them when this offense just doesn't work. Josh Jacobs 2 weeks ago, dropping 7 points for you in a PPR league. Devontae Adams, like Vinny said, 1 reception, 3 yards. Like, this offense is volatile and can put up stinkers regardless of the player any given week. Not the consistency you want from an offense.
I'm with you. Ernie came in here guessing that was Lincoln. One of the earlier quotes. Good guess. Abraham
the vehicle
Lincoln.
or the president? Oh, the president. Gotcha.
Yeah. And Bronson asks, Alan Lazard or Jacoby Myers rest of season. Vinny, do you like Alan Lazard or Jacoby Myers rest of season?
Well, I do like Alan Lazard a lot this week. If he can return, it looks like he will from the shoulder injury. That matchup is just really good against Detroit. I don't know. Jacoby Myers doesn't excite me. Like, you play him, and he could get that touchdown. He's got a lot more scoring than he did last year, which is great. And he's the only guy. But I think this Packers team is going to get better down the stretch, and the volume of passing is going to get higher. So I'm going to go with Lazard. And keep in mind, Lazard has scored in every game except one when he's been out there healthy. So that was the game he got hurt and with the shoulder. So he's a guy that's always going to be looked into the red zone, and Myers is kind of the anti that. Those are kind of random touchdowns for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who Lazard has been, right? He's been this big-bodied touchdown guy, and he's now there's fewer competition in the red zone now, so we're going to see those numbers go up. I'm with you, Vinny. It's Lazard for me rest of the season.
Before the trade deadline, this would have been a tougher question for me because, I thought Green Bay would bring someone in, but now they haven't. Still seems like Lazard's the wide receiver 1 there for sure.
Yeah, he's still the guy. Eric in here asks, PPR week 9 rest of season. Rank the following running backs: A.J. Dillon, Eno Benjamin, Antonio Gibson, or Deonta Foreman. So rank those running backs rest of season from week 9 rest of season. What do you think, Joey?
I think I'm going to say reverse order. Can you read it in reverse order for me?
Deonta Foreman, Antonio Gibson, Eno Benjamin, A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, I'll say reverse order.
Reverse order. Simon, you agree with them?
Swap AJ and Eno, and then it's reverse order for me. So I'm going Deonta Foreman, Antonio Gibson, AJ Dillon, Eno Benjamin as the last one. I think he's earned a role, but I just want to see how much of a role he's earned if James Conner comes back.
Okay.
And the chat got Elijah Moore earlier that on Vinny's quote easily. Scott Fish, Tim, Dustin, they all got it. Nobody saw through that. All right, guys, let's get into our next quote here. Simon, this one is for you. Joey, I'm sorry you did not get either.
I didn't get that.
The last one. All right, Simon, here's your quote. It hurts. I love this team, and I know they've got my back. I know this is not going to define me as a kicker, and everybody misses kicks. Unfortunately, mine was today, and my time was today. I'm going to bounce back and be ready to kick.
Well, this was the poor soul, Eddie Pinheiro of the Carolina Panthers after DJ Moore got the 15-yard penalty for taking his helmet off. He missed the extra point and misses the field goal in overtime to beat the Falcons.
That is correct, Simon. Well done. You nailed it. Both the context and the kick and the player, Eddie Pinheiro, kicker for the Carolina Panthers. Yes, he said it hurts. I love this team, and I know they got my back. Tough day for Eddie Pinheiro. You guys think? You think he's got you think he'll come back from this?
I don't know. Sometimes we see it with kickers, right? You get in your head. It's such a mental position, but I'll believe in him. I believe in him. It sounds like they're providing some positivity for him around that event. It's not his fault. Like that game could have been put away earlier, right? Maybe DJ Moore doesn't take his helmet off. It's not a 40+ yard extra point kick that they're trying. So he'll bounce back, I hope.
I think so too. Well done, Simon. That is going to give you 2 points here. Tommy said Rodrigo ? I just love how that's all you have to say in most situations. Rodrigo? ?
That's what he says every time he meets someone. He just assumes their name is Rodrigo. Like Rodrigo? Like no,
Clark.
My name's Simon, Tommy. We met like 12 times.
Are you all right?
We talk every day.
Well done. All right, so the score currently after round 1, Vinny and Simon are tied with 2 points. Joey, no points. Big old goose egg. Let's get into our next round. Vinny, we're back to you. Here's your quote. It's rough right now. It's obvious. We lack a lot of stuff. We lack a lot of experience. We lack a lot of discipline and accountability. We lack a lot.
That could be a lot of people in the NFL right now. I'm going to go with the previous answer. It sounds like a very hard Knoxy thing to say, so I'm going with Dan Campbell.
Dan
talk about obviously the Lions sucking.
The Lions sucking. Well, that is wrong. Bonk. I'm sorry, Vinny. Good reasoning. And I think your context would have applied here if you had nailed the player. But this was Steelers running back Najee Harris. Najee Harris talking about why the Steelers suck.
He wasn't talking about himself again. That wasn't.
He was not talking about himself again. It's rough right now. We lack a lot of stuff. He said lack a lot. That's like 5 times in this 2 sentences.
I don't know if he was using the personal we, like we lack a lot of stuff. Like
it's the royal.
I lack a lot of stuff, like rushing yards, production.
Are you from like a dynasty perspective, in your maybe let's say like long-term perspective? Do you think not will bounce back in terms of his value in fantasy?
Yeah, I think he kind of downplayed that foot injury, and we should have looked into it more with the steel plate or whatever that was in his foot. That should have been a red flag to all of us. And I think he maybe saw Jaylen Warren. Oh, this kid is pretty good. I better stay on the field. I don't want to lose my job. So I think that happened. The offensive line has been pretty bad. That does not work out here this season. I thought they would have upgraded a little bit in the middle, but that didn't happen. So I think if they upgrade their offensive line a little bit and Kenny Pickett gets more comfortable, I think Najee can have a bounce back year next year. So he's too talented not to do that, but I think he's just out of his element right now, maybe forcing runs that aren't there.
Absolutely. Now I'm with you. I'm excited. I think Najee will be fine long term. I'm with you. I think he will be able to bounce back. All right, guys, let's get into our next quote here. Joey, this one is for you.
Okay.
Here's your quote. I had 30 seconds where I was ready to jump out of the roof from happiness. Then about 4 minutes where I thought I was going to cry somewhere.
That's all I get. Can I get the position like Simon got? Let's see. One more. Can you read the quote one more time?
Yeah. I can read the quote one more time. I had 30 seconds where I was ready to jump out of the roof from happiness. Then about 4 minutes where I thought I was going to cry somewhere.
Dustin said Joey's wife.
Joey's wife.
Honestly, like my wife did get a phone call from a Baltimore phone number last weekend, so I'm actually going to go with my wife if I can on this.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, and I don't think I need to get into the context. Like I got into the context on that yesterday. So
okay, final answer is your wife. No context given.
Can I actually give a real answer?
Yes, I was hoping.
I'm going to say Marcus Mariota.
Okay. Speaking about what?
With the game last week.
In last week's game, the week 8 game. Yeah. Well, Joey, that is wrong. Bonk.
It was my wife.
It was your wife. It was this Falcons wide receiver, Damiere Byrd, on the frantic final minutes of regulation that followed his go-ahead touchdown catch against Carolina.
I had the right team.
You did have the right team. You did have the right team.
Oh, Damiere Byrd.
That was brutal. Making it a Damiere Byrd quote.
Did they allow him to talk to reporters? I didn't know that.
Okay. So, Joe, here's what I think here. Joey got the reasoning right, but he picked the wrong player on the team.
I should get a point.
He picked it's about the end of the game. Like I think he got the context correct.
You got a point.
Didn't get the player. So I think he gets a point for that.
That's fair. I hear you, but no.
Okay.
Because
the power's gone to your head.
Out just to say about the game last week, and then
a
lot of quotes might be about a game. This was specifically about a close matchup, close matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Falcons. So I'm sorry.
I have whales on my coffee mug.
Strict. JL's laying down the hammer.
It's all right.
Listen,
no, it's fine.
This is what we do. Our job is game mechanics. Yes.
Without rules, what do we have?
JL is not in a good mood. It has nothing to do with my mood. It has to do with my dedication to proper balance game mechanics. Joey, no points for you.
Or
Simon, or Sue. Simon, we're moving on to you. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Before I do that, Joey, is Demir Bird worth picking up?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just wanted to check real quick.
Sorry.
I think Vinny said it all when he said I didn't even know he was allowed to talk to reporters.
I'd rather
Right?
I'd rather have Zacchaeus than Demir Bird. I know he's had touchdowns in back-to-back games, but I'd rather have Zacchaeus if I have to have one, which I don't want him either. So
My favorite thing is he's named Demir Bird and he plays for the Falcons. That's my favorite.
That is funny. That is pretty funny.
And it was a revenge game, so we should have seen it coming.
You're right. Man, that's the best narrative in fantasy football is the
so
revenge game narrative. It's so much fun. It doesn't always work, but it is fun. Sometimes you get Melvin Gordon on the bench while his opposing team puts him up on the screen with clown emojis. And then sometimes you get Demir Bird catching a touchdown.
I was tracking those this season too, so I missed that one. So I need to up my game.
Step your game up.
Yeah.
Step your game up. All right, Simon. We're on to your next quote. Here it is. So I thought that was good to see him step up this week. And you know what he did not? He did not just step up in his words, but did in his actions. And I think that is what a real leader does. Let me reread that because I kind of got tripped up on the lack of punctuation here. So I thought that was good to see him step up. But he did not, but in his actions. And I think that is what a real leader does.
I have a guess at this if Simon gets it wrong.
I have no idea. Can you read it for me one more time?
So I thought that was good to see him step up this week. And you know what? He did not just step up in his words, but did in his actions. And I think that is what a real leader does.
A real leader. Okay, so someone who stepped up and maybe had to step up unexpectedly is what I'm thinking about here. This is a player who was maybe thrust into a starting position that they weren't expecting him to be thrust into. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Vinny's face is making me nervous. You guys are getting in my head. Here's what I'm going to go with. This was, of course, you know what? I'm going to take a different route. This was Matt Eberflus talking about his quarterback stepping up over the past couple weeks. That's what I'm going with, JL.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That is wrong.
Damn it.
That was Dennis Allen on Alvin Kamara's Week 8 performance. Sorry, Simon. No points.
That's
points.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I got lucky on that first one. You handed me the layup.
Damn it, Joey. I forgot you had a guess. Was that who you were going to guess?
Yeah.
Was it? Damn it. I wish I had asked that.
No, I was gonna guess it was about Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
That was where I went. And then Fantasy Dog in here said, guess Joey's wife. It's a good guess.
Yes, Joey's wife.
I was my wife got home in the kitchen. I was like, honey, I talked a lot about you on the show today. She's like, oh, and I'm like, wait.
No.
Yeah.
don't watch it.
So,
well,
I got go ahead.
The score is tied currently. Vinny 2, Simon 2. Should we just speed round one more to see a winner?
Speed round one more.
Sure.
All right, we're out of here.
All right, Vinny, here is your final quote. He always has to play better. As soon as you step on the field, you have to play better. He has to play better, and we've got to find ways to help him.
Oh, man. That's kind of throwing people under the bus, but not at the same time. Someone who played poorly. Oh, man. I'm going to say Frank Reich on Sam Ellinger.
Frank Reich, geez. Frank Reich on Sam Ellinger is wrong. Bonk. This was Jets coach Robert Saleh on Zach Wilson.
The chat was all over this one.
Pretty close. Pretty close on
the. I got two Jets questions. Come on. I was game theorying. It can't be the Jets again.
You'd think.
Yeah.
All right, Joey. We're moving on to you. You ready?
Yep.
We are not panicking. We know what went wrong in each game. We have to go back and watch the film. Make our corrections in this one like we always have and come back out firing next week.
Is it a cop-out if I say someone I said before?
No.
He's so quotable. Like Dan Campbell's got to be in one of these quotes today. So I'll go Dan Campbell again.
What's the reasoning?
What's the context?
With the play of the Lions.
Last week?
Mm-hmm.
Or just,
Whole
okay, just
season.
the
Whole
Lions
season.
sucking?
Yeah.
This was wrong. Bonk. This was Joe Burrow on losing to the Browns, Joey. Sorry.
I blocked that out of my memory.
All right, Simon. Last shot to win is yours, or else it's going to end in a tie.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah, man. And also, I'm just trying to promote my brand a little bit. Shout out to Soul Runner for Life. Appreciate it.
I don't know. Soul Runner? I'm just trying. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to promote my brand a little bit. Soul Runner for Life. I'm imagining a wide receiver. It sounds like a wide receiver who would say
terrible.
Soul Runner. So I'm going to go with this is wide receiver Stephon Diggs promoting his new partnership with Soul Runners.
Stephon Diggs is
Incorrect.
wrong. This was
Dang it.
Tyreek Hill talking about his sunglasses. No points for you this time, Simon. I'm very
Dang
sorry.
it.
So this is our first game of Quotey McQuoteface or quotes. The chat is determining right now. Tied. Vinny and Simon. Well done.
Vinny, if I have to share a victory with anyone, I'm glad it's you and not Joey.
Is this really a victory? I mean, we just got. It was like I feel like we all lost playing this game a little bit just inside.
I lost more than you both, though.
Vinny and I
won.
get the first one right, and then just sit here and like, I don't know. Dan Campbell.
Campbell.
Stephon Diggs. Vinny, thank you so much for coming on and playing Quotey McQuoteface with us today. We really appreciate it, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
Guys,
Vinny.
Appreciate you,
everybody
Vinny.
watching, if you are not already following our guest Vinny on Twitter, go and check him out on Twitter at Vinny Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. And you can find all his work over on sportingnews.com. There's a link to it directly in his Twitter, so you can find it over there. Vinny, we'll see you next week, but looking forward to it already, my man.
All right. Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Guys, that was a ton of fun. I love playing these games. And if you enjoy watching our games, great news. Head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. We have so many games that we play over there. It's all we do. It's all we do over there. So, guys, make sure you're checking out our YouTube channel, subscribing at Front Yard Fantasy. Right now, you are listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Surely. Kickers never retire, I think. They just continue playing for all eternity. Like, there's only ever been 30 NFL kickers.
They're always readily available too, it seems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just get called up. They're like, you kicked for us 10 years ago, right? Why don't you
Let's run it back. Let's run
I
it back.
imagine
Graham
every
Gano. Why
single
don't you pop
kicker
in?
that gets the call is on a high school football field somewhere just practicing field goals after hours. Like it's like 9 p.m. and they're out there just the local high school kicking field goals, and the phone rings. They get the call and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I've been practicing for this.
I have an amazing kicker story if you guys have a second.
I got a couple.
The number one all-time field goal kicker is Adam Vinatieri. The next two guys are Morton and Gary Anderson, right? Gary Anderson was a dude from like South Africa that just played rugby and soccer. He could absolutely boot the ball, right? They bring him over and he does like a tryout and he's just absolutely crushing the ball. And all these colleges are like, dude, we want you to come kick field goals for us. And he goes, I don't even want to play football. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, so if I can come to your school and play soccer, I'll also, in the fall, I'll kick for the football team. And Syracuse was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, you're on the soccer team. Like, come on. And he went to Syracuse to play soccer, but also kick field goals. And then he ended up being a top 3 point scorer in the NFL all the time.
That's ridiculous.
And his answer to recruiters was, I don't want to play football. I'll do it in my spare time.
Yeah. He's like, you got a spot for me in the soccer team. Syracuse is like, yeah, we got a spot for you.
We don't even care about our soccer team.
We don't even care.
We totally have that spot.
Right? They had to like cobble together a soccer team. This guy's the captain.
Oh my god, it's like Accepted the movie, but they just like had to throw together a whole fake soccer team.
Somehow they still got Justin Long.
Right, yeah. Like Adam Sandler's the coach. And imagine they win the national championship. That's a movie, dog. Yeah.
Boom!
Someone call up Disney. Yeah, we just wrote a movie for you, Disney. This has Disney sports movie written all over. I'm borderline crying right here just thinking about this movie right now.
Dude, the story gets even crazier. Like I should have looked it up again, but like it was like a high school coach that went and found him, and then that high school coach ended up being somebody crazy famous that like coached for the Rams.
Stay tuned for sports. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. And we brought in the ringer for our game of Hypothetically. Tim Wright joining the show. What's up, Tim?
I did it. Woohoo, Joey. Let's go. I'm excited to be here, boys. This is a great day. Happy
Excited
Friday.
to have you.
It feels like Fun Friday. This feels right.
Yeah,
right?
We're back. We're back.
Good.
Took a bit, but we're back.
I'm going to be honest. I'm thrown off a little bit, Tim. I am thrown off a little bit by the lack of facial hair on your face. Just
It is freaking
long
me out.
hair and I am
That's
sitting
what
here
it
like,
is. I was
like
trying to figure it out, Simon.
I'm
Yeah,
just sitting
Something's
here
weirded me out. I don't know what it
like,
is.
who is this clean-shaven male model on the other side of the screen with the luscious locks and the beanie on? It's Tim with no mustache.
I shaved on Tuesday.
Is this because I'm growing out the facial hair? You're like, I can't be like JL.
Well, I mean, I wanted to give you a head start, I think. I wanted to make it at least a little fair.
I need it.
Tim will catch you in about 3 hours, I think, by the time he's caught
30
you on that
minutes,
go-to. By the end of this segment, Tim's going to have more of a beard than you do. That's how it's going to work. Tim, we're going to play some Hypothetically with you, which is I'm excited to play Hypothetically with you. This is the game where we just take a hypothetical situation from JL and overthink the hell out of it. Take it to the extreme. Before we do that, though, we have a question in here. This one came from Dennis. What's up, Dennis? Welcome in. He said 10-team half PPR. Should I trade Ayuk and Sutton for Goodwin? So I'm guessing Marquise Goodwin plus Zeke. So, Joey, would you make that trade?
Godwin.
It
has to be Godwin. It's got to be Godwin.
Yeah.
Ayuk and Sutton for Godwin and Zeke. Are you making that trade, Joey?
So I only like two players in this trade, and that's Ayuk and Godwin, and I'd rather have Godwin. And I kind of like Zeke's matchups coming up the next few weeks. I know Pollard really showed out last week. He's on a bye, but yeah, it's going to be the Godwin Zeke side for me. I'm actually trying to get Sutton actively off my teams right now, if I can.
Tim, I saw you nod in your head. It looks like you agree. Is this the Godwin Zeke side for you as well?
Yeah, I have to. I mean, you have to imagine the Bucks are going to get their stuff sorted here in the next couple of weeks. I can't this week, right? I can't trust Denver, and then bringing in CMC. I mean, you got Debo and CMC. That's San Francisco. Sorry, Ayuk.
Man, I'm probably a little bit higher on Ayuk, but it definitely does cap him a little bit. Dennis had a follow-up. He said, I'm 3-6 after this game day. Second trade option, Jamar Chase for DeAndre Hopkins or Amon-Ra St. Brown. So Jamar Chase expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. They're 3-6. They need to manufacture wins now. JL, are you making this trade?
Yeah. I don't like positional 1-for-1 trades. I think they're dumb, but I would probably make this trade.
I think you can do it for either of those guys.
Yeah.
Either of those guys. Joey, I see you nodding your head. Do you agree? Is there one you would prefer, Hopkins or St. Brown rest of the season?
I would prefer Hopkins. I think this is a best case scenario 3-6 type trade. Why are you 3-6? Are you 3-5?
Jamar Chase. No. After this game day. I think they're already assuming the L. They're assuming the L for this week, I'm guessing.
Oh, they're assuming the L for this week. Okay, yeah. Then I would go out and get Hopkins for Chase.
Oh, I didn't even do the math. I just assumed. I was like, that sounds right.
Dennis also wants to know, do we have Nyheim Hines over Zeke Elliott rest of season, half PPR? No, I do not. It is Zeke Elliott over Nyheim Hines. And one more question before we get into hypothetically. Fam First said, should I trade Terry McLaurin and Jonathan Taylor for Devontae Adams and DeAndre Swift? So
I did
Terry
not
McLaurin and Jonathan
recognize
Taylor.
That was Terry McLaurin, Simon. Well, good done for you. Good done for you.
Did you think it was Tishton McCaffrey?
Yeah, you're not looking at the FYF YouTube chat. He's TMC, which I'm not used to seeing. Tishton McCaffrey.
Right as I was reading the jail, I was ready to say Christian McCaffrey and just say it was spelled wrong, and then it came to me. It was like Terry McLaurin. It's Terry McLaurin.
Good.
So Joey, Terry McLaurin and Jonathan Taylor for Devontae Adams and Swift. Are you making this move?
I am making this move. I think you're buying low on both Adams and Swift. And Swift has even said, I'm not completely healthy yet, and he's still putting up respectable fantasy performances. I like this trade a lot.
What about you, Tim? I see you nodding your head along. You agree with Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I like Detroit players right now. They're an absolute glass. They're a glass cannon, man. It's a lot of fun to watch. They're going to score points on anybody and not stop anybody. That's the dream for fantasy. And Devontae, he's gonna get right. I know the Raiders are a little bit weird right now, but they're gonna get right.
Hear that,
Absolutely.
Tommy?
You hear that,
Raiders
Tommy?
Get right.
Tommy, I know we give you a lot of shade, but I'm truly pro Raiders. Like they are my my second team. I like the Raiders. They're a fun team to cheer for. And I'm surrounded by Raiders fans in San Antonio. Like true, it is like Texans.
That adds up.
There are so many Raiders jerseys and fans. It's Texans, Cowboys, and Raiders here in San Antonio. So it's fun cheering for the Raiders because there's a big Raiders contingency here as well. We ready to get into some hypothetically, JL?
Yeah,
we absolutely are. All right, let's get into some hypothetically. If this is your first time watching, this is how we play this game. I am going to these contestants. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just going to all the contestants. I'm going to propose a hypothetical question. I realized the way I said it was not how that actually works. I'm going to propose to a prompt, a hypothetical question, a philosophical question to the contestants. They have to think through it and give me an answer. And the only rule is they have to overthink the hell out of it. Nice and easy, right? Nice and simple.
Oh, I can do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys. Here's your first hypothetically prompt. Would you rather every time you fart, your mother gets slapped, or every time you sneeze, you lose a month off your lifespan, or every time you burp, you and all your fantasy players simultaneously tear your ACLs?
Oh, what?
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, right.
Would you rather every time you fart, your mother gets slapped every time, or every time you sneeze, you lose a month off your lifespan, or every time you burp, you and all your fantasy players simultaneously tear your ACLs?
You know, guys, this was going to be
in the slap.
This was going to be so hard for me. This was going to be so hard because I was not going to say.
Mama
I was not going to say
the
slap
chat.
my mother. Yeah, I was not going to say it. But the other two options are so bad. And then my mom shows up in the chat and says, slap me.
Slap me, brother. Slap me.
Oh, my God.
That is the best response. Slap me.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's incredible. You know what? I'm not one to disobey my mother.
So as you guys know, that you have an opportunity here to ask any clarification questions, talk through your thoughts before each of you is going to have to give me an answer.
Who's doing the slapping? Is it Mike Tyson or is it, an 8-year-old? That would be dangerous. You're basically asking me to kill my mom with one part.
I mean, it's a slap. It's not a punch. So
I don't care. He could slap my face off.
The slap is from a neutral person. They're not excessively strong or excessively weak, and it's a new person every time. But it is people that you know, but not know well enough that it's weird. So that's like one girl from your class in 6th grade
or
shows up and slaps your mom.
The checkout person at the local grocery store that you see semi-regularly.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. That's like some It Follows stuff. You never know who it's going to be. And then
nice reference. Nice
reference. It's kind of just like maybe an excuse to hang out with some people that you haven't connected with in a while.
Right. So if something comes out, does it count as a fart?
Ooh. Well, fart is coming out.
I don't know.
Right, but I mean, like something solid. Like if I sit on the toilet and I like make a push and there's a loud noise, but there's something that comes out along with it. Is my mother getting slapped or okay?
No, yeah, farts that are separate from the poop process.
Okay, okay. And then on the other one, you said
that's
every
a safe
time.
Space.
What happens every time I sneeze?
That's creepy.
Every time you sneeze, you lose a month off your lifespan.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. Here's my problem with that one. every single thing I like happens while I'm alive. All of them. There's not a single thing that I like that doesn't require being alive as a prerequisite. So I really value that time because all the other things I like require it to happen. And man, like I enjoy sneezing. Like I've injured my back and it's taken the joy out of sneezing for me because it hurts every time. If it also took a year or a month off my life every time I sneezed, like allergy season would just be brutal. Like every time I sneezed, it would just sink me into depression. I don't think like take seasonal depression to a whole new level, right? Like every time I sneeze, it's just reminding me that life is finite and I'm just making it more and more finite every single time pollen aggravates the inside of my nose.
Yeah, but once you get into that headspace, you want the months coming off.
Jesus, Tim.
Oh my God. both of you are just like blowing my mind now.
Tim's the kind of friend that's like, I think I'm gonna jump, and Tim's like, jump.
You won't do it. Coward.
Whew.
So-
Sneezing your life away, Tommy says. And then what was the other option? I just got so hung up on that.
You burp.
Tearing
and you're-
ACLs, like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
That's
but
like
you and your
Tim,
team.
that's basically you might already have that curse, I think, actually.
That's
Except
true.
it's just the players on your team, not you.
Yeah.
Because you draft players that tear the ACLs at a higher rate than anybody else I've ever met.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at identifying those players at the beginning of the season, and then I want them on my squad.
That's a burp, right?
Tommy
A burp,
asking some good questions here. He said, is it a Will Smith slap or just a little tap? Is the degree of the slap equal to the power of the fart? Power.
Oh,
You charge it
see,
up.
that seems
I agree.
logical.
You know what? I amend my previous statement. It absolutely on how hard you fart.
Okay, so is like a little sputter of whisper farts to break down a big fart better?
Yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
doing this.
It'll be like the floppy fish hand, just back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Simon, we're in sync on stuff today.
Does the burp have to be audible? Like I've got gastric issues. If it just comes up in my mouth, like my cheeks puff up and nothing comes out, are ACLs getting torn?
They're getting taken
No.
to the blue tent. They get
If you
taken to the blue tent,
swallow,
but
if
it's
you
not torn.
swallow it, nothing will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
But you have to swallow it. You can't like burp in your mouth and then like do like a nose exhale or something.
Here's what it's going to do. That one is going to make me not want to burp as much. Okay. Like it's going to prevent me from burping. I do think most of my burps are controllable and I push them out on purpose because it's funny. This will make my girlfriend happier. This will make my mother happier. This will make my friend Luke happier that I am not belching in public anymore. And so I think I'm going to go with that route and I'm going to just try to avoid burping. I might have a couple missteps along the way. Know what I mean? An ACL or two is gone.
ACL is going to be torn every day of the week.
But it also will make you control your diet.
It may encourage healthier eating habits by force. Like don't eat things that make me have like gastric issues. So Mom, I know you gave permission to be slapped and I appreciate that. I appreciate you being willing to take that sacrifice, but I think I'm rolling with the burps and the ACLs.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, that one is the most controllable, I think. I can't always control my farts.
I'm still letting my mom get a shot in the face. I don't care.
A slap. It's a slap, Joey.
Whatever it is. She just called me too. I wonder if she heard what I said.
So I'm not entirely convinced that I'm not going to live forever. So if I have infinite lives, I'm taking the sneeze route. Easy. You take off a month off of infinity, it's still infinity. So
That's
plus
a
I'm
good
going to live
point,
on in the memory of my friends forever. So I'll just write a book and say, this is who Tim was. And then I'm good.
Good luck capturing that in a book. You've got to be the world's
True.
best writer to capture
It's going to be a
the
picture
essence of
book.
Tim.
It's going to be a
Okay.
picture book.
You know what? Checks out.
Pop out too.
Joey, which one are you going with? You're going with slap your mom?
I was decided on slapping your mom, and no amount of talking through this would have made change my mind. Like, everything else sounds terrible.
We all
I
end
like
up on
my
different
mom a
sides
lot,
of this
but-
one.
Eric said, if you swallow your burp, it's just a high ankle sprain.
It just travels down the leg.
Tommy said, only so many ACLs to go around. True. That is very true.
Gosh,
So
I
after
don't
the
wanna
first
be-
two burps, I'm in the clear, at least for like a couple months recovery, right?
That is
but
true.
then it's just you could tear it again, right?
Yeah,
Am I
you're right.
wrong?
I could just re-tear it mid-recovery
You
process
just
over
can-
and over again.
Am I ever going to walk again? Is what you're basically asking.
I'm good
And,
at rolling.
Bronson in here saying Trey has a question for us before we get on to our next hypothetically prompt. Well done, by the way, guys. Bronson said trade DK for Debo or Sutton and Jacoby for Debo. Yeah. Both.
Yeah,
I
would do either of those trades.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys. There it is.
How's that for your fantasy analysis? Was that helpful? Yep.
Yep.
Man.
All right.
I am having a lot more fun with DK this season than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to be really sad for the rest of the season, but
I think we
he
all
has
are.
surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah,
Go Gino.
If you bought into what Gino and DK were doing last year in the small sample size together, if you bought into that, you got a good bargain on DK Metcalf this year.
You did. You absolutely. Yeah. If you called the Geno Smith ascension this year, then good on you. All right, let's get into our next hypothetically prompt. Would you rather have triple the height or have triple the feet?
Like my feet are 3 times bigger, or I have 6 feet.
That's what I was thinking.
You have 6 feet.
Okay.
Where do they go?
On your legs.
But
okay, do I
Do I
have
have,
6,
like-
do I have 6
do I-
ankles as well?
Yeah,
Or do
right.
I just have 6
Uh-huh.
feet? Okay,
It branches.
so it branches. It branches. 3 on each leg, or or is
Does
it
it
getting
start
weird?
Does it start at your knee? Because if so, then I
No.
might change my answer from the last question. Because then I have extra ACLs.
Yeah, a bunch of ACLs. No,
Yeah.
your leg looks normal, but right when it goes down, like right above where that little ankle ball thing is on your ankle, it just like in 3 different ways. Each one is a new ankle ball joint.
My feet hurt all the time, and I could be a giant. Are you kidding me? What kind of question is this?
He said, I would break sprain ankle records. Yeah, you're not going to be
Scott-
finding a boot that fits.
I think you already break sprain ankle records. This would just make it an unachievable record.
And also Scott Fish having triple the height, also probably a nightmare. It's also already very tall.
I would win every sport.
Jay,
But that's the
is
thing
the-
with the height, you're almost as far away from because basketball is the one you think of most probably with height. You'd be almost just as far away from the hoop because you'd be almost 20 feet tall.
Yeah, but then you just
So-
have to drop it in. You don't have to put it up and then down. It's just a straight down shot. But you know
What's
what?
your drop
Dropping
accuracy
things
like?
is hard to aim it perfectly.
Try dropping something from the top into like a little hoop.
No,
Well,
if you reach down. I don't know. I'd have to see
Wait,
logistics.
do
on
my
it.
arms stay the same length? Or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it just my torso that's
Yeah.
stretched out?
That's what I was going to ask. Is it proportional?
It's your imagine the middle of your body, like above the
Ooh,
belly
okay.
button, but below the boobs. Right in there, it just
Ah.
gets extended until you reach. the
Wait,
height.
so I'm not. All right. I mean, yeah, okay. I'm gonna be appropriate. But
Okay, this changes it then. This
It does
changes
change
it
it.
then because now you're fragile. Like now you can be broken in half. I feel like. Know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like football is
said
no longer
what?
an option because a hard.
Scott Fish said, "What kind of vehicles can I even
Scott
ride
Fish said
in?"
what? You're gonna have to buy the Ford F650. You and T-Pain are gonna have the same car just driving around is what that's gonna be, because I think that's the only vehicle you're fitting in. And what you're doing is you're taking out the front seats in this F650 and you're just laying across the back. Like you gotta be in the back of the truck so that your legs can be out front. And then you need an extender on the steering wheel because your torso's got to be able to like slide across the entire length of your F650.
So is it just the torso that's triple the height, or is the torso getting triple the height of me?
No, your torso, everything from your nips up is just the same, just way higher up.
so you're like a human wiener dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well,
We're tilting
this
back into
changed
that
it. I was
direction.
going to say this changed it again when Joey puts it that way. Also, Dustin with the right answer about vehicles. Convertibles. It's convertibles only.
Yeah.
And
If you're,
But how do you go through
You
tunnels?
have to pay it. Yeah, you have to
you're
pay attention to the height thing.
Tommy
if
said
you're
you would be
18
like
feet tall. Go ahead, Simon.
Tommy said you would be like the giraffe in Hangover 3 riding in a convertible. I just want to give everyone an update. I met that giraffe in person and fed him lettuce. He's a real giraffe and he's alive. He didn't actually die in the movie. But after that movie, he did have a very traumatic experience when he escaped his cage during the California wildfires. And they have photos of the giraffe in the middle of Malibu running in front of a hellscape in the background of like smoke and flames and things going up. It is the most bizarre photograph seeing this giraffe, the Hangover 3 giraffe. Like it escaped from its enclosure and was just running around in front of the wildfires, just going crazy in California. But he survived. He's alive. And I fed him.
That is kind of
and he doesn't like girls. He likes boys. Huh. That's another fact about the giraffe from Hangover 3.
That's cool, I guess.
Love is love. Like, I don't know.
Eric said, why do you know this? Because I met him. I met him in California.
He just said.
They had one incredible weekend together in Malibu.
It was unbelievable. Okay, I feel like we didn't really explore the triple the feet thing here. Like we talked about it. We talked about where you're going to have extra ankles, but what benefits does having triple the feet have? I saw someone mention balance. Yeah, I think it's balance. Tim, is there anything else that this is adding?
I mean, basketball, you're either getting all your ankles broken or none of them. So that's something. I don't know. There's really no benefits. It's like both of them are not great.
I just thought of the benefit. One of these, some people are really into and willing to pay money for. And that is some pictures of
that is elongated midsections.
See, Eric is exactly where I was going here. If I've got 6 feet, I am starting up the most exclusive foot fetish OnlyFans of all time. Like I am the only person in the world with 6 feet, and I am going to be a hot commodity over there if I've got 6 feet. And I'm making bank.
See, I think
Sunday.
I think it started instead of starting one OnlyFans, you do it like the creator of Starbucks did, and you buy Seattle's best. So you start 6 OnlyFans account because you've got basically 6 different, what do you call it, franchises?
Even personalities. Yeah, personalities.
That's what you do. And you corner the entire market. You do one with foot nail polish, one just completely nude feet, one you'll let the hair grow out because some people are into that. This is what you do, Simon.
There's all sorts of ideas. I could do skits with them. I'm assuming they're like Eric asked if they were prehensile and I can move them independently, right? Just like I can with my normal feet. Out. Like I don't have to move all 3 feet on the same leg at the same time. I can move each one individually.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Imagine the piano you could play with your feet. Like if you could have an actual advantage going like piano play.
Yeah, no. I can't even play with my hands. You expect me now to play with 6 feet?
Yeah. Scott Fisher is at this point is the coy one. This foot is the shy one, and this one's the rebel.
Give him personality traits.
And I'm gonna call them like it's gonna be like L1, L2, L3, R1, R2, R3. You number them from the inside out, so both the ones are in the inside, 2's in the middle, 3's on the outside. That's the numbering conventions here, and we all know L3 is going to be the saucy one. L3 is going to be the rebel, hanging out over there on my non-dominant side, on the outside. L3 is a dirty boy.
Yeah, but think of all the toenails that you have to clip. I don't like clipping mine now. That's frustrating.
Lot.
That's 30 toenails. Nope.
That's so many. And what if you get hangnails?
Oh God, gosh! And imagine stubbing your toes.
Oh my God.
You're a magnet at this point. Furniture, watch out.
Penalty kicks in soccer would be interesting because you plant yourself with one foot and then it's 4 different options, like which foot is going to kick the penalty kicks. That'd be interesting.
What you could do, and I don't mean to influence or bias. Actually, it's exactly what I mean to do here. Buy a vineyard and then think of how efficiently you can make wine with 6 feet.
True.
You're just going to be stomping grapes like crazy.
Yeah, but I know how hard it is to step into a barrel of grapes. Don't get me wrong. But you're gonna
we've all seen the video of the woman falling.
If your feet are like this, you're just going to get your feet stuck in the barrel every single time. You're going to break ankles like that.
How big do you think, how small do you think this barrel is?
Yeah, you get a custom 6-foot barrel.
Yeah, you get that industrial size.
Simon's Chewbacca impression sounds a lot like the Great Stomping Lady now that I think about it.
Yeah.
She was the voice for Chewbacca all along, and we had no idea. Can I get custom shoes made that would fit all 3 feet into one shoe on one leg?
Absolutely.
Shoes would be expensive.
Do they?
Because then I'm thinking like then they would move in unison, and it might make it a little bit better to get used to. And the power on that boot, if I've got 3 like ankles with that ankle motion, just getting a swing at the same time, like
it's so big, it's just comically large.
Do the extra feet are they their own left and right foots? Like, how does that work? Are they all left feet or all right feet?
It alternates, but it's
no,
what is
the
happening?
one in the middle on each foot has all the toes level. It's just like a rectangle in the middle.
Yeah.
And then there's a right and left foot on either side. And then the foot in the middle just has flat toes across the top.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. Is the inside ones are basically your normal feet, and now you have a whole nother set on the outside of each ankle.
We're gonna have to Dr. Scholl, somebody
left
call
and
him
right.
up.
Yeah, I just want to be tall. Like
I would just like, I'll just take the height. That's too much.
I don't want to but belly dancing. If it was all in the belly, you could be the like America's Got Talent. Watch out! Here comes the belly dancer.
I don't want to be like, belly dancing.
Does that belly go all the way up?
How many hula hoops can you get going at once?
17 minimum.
So many hula hoops.
Man.
Like,
oh God. At first it was all negative, but now we're thinking positives. I think I'm still going with the feet because I'm going to have a lucrative OnlyFans career, and it opens up just so many other options for me.
I'd rather die than wear pants, though. Gosh.
For me, it's going to be the long torso. It's based on if I don't need my friends anymore to do the human centipede Halloween costume that I've been wanting to do all these years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just that long now, so I don't need my friends.
You just got to put like some dummy heads on your back or something.
That's all I have to do is put heads on my back.
Lady Rainicorn costume.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking my language. Lady Rainicorn, Wiener Dog. You're right. The Halloween costumes with like, what are you going to be with really 6 feet? Just like a coat rack? Like you're just going to have like a sturdy base and then your arms come off? Like,
you know what?
That's your go-to Halloween costume with 6 feet.
First thought was analogy, and I was like, you know what? I can't think of a single object that represents the situation more than a coat rack. So you know what? Well done. You nailed it.
You could stand on your hands and be the tree from the Lion King.
Yeah.
I'm taking that. I'm going to take the feet here.
Taking the feet. Joey's taking the midsection, the 3 times taller. Tim, which side are you taking?
So I think it comes down to if it's just triple the torso length, I'm doing that all day because that just what's that? It's going to make me just 7-8 feet tall. I'll take that. My arms are pretty long as it is. Your life is
7-8 feet tall. Are you like 3 feet?
No, well, so is it? That's the question. You said just the torso.
I think the whole length of your body is tripled.
It's triple
but all the height is in your mid region.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Not just your midsection is tripled. It's your height is tripled. It's triple the height or triple the feet.
All right. So I'd be
like 17 foot
16.
10.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what? I gotta live life large. Let's go for it. I'm sticking with it.
Going tall.
I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
Well done.
You would
guys.
be living large. That's awesome.
You would be living very large.
You'd have to sleep curled up like a dog. Like you would have to roll up into a little ball, like get really tight because your belly's so long.
And look like a Swiss cake roll.
Or a hose. Scott Fish said, "Agreed, Joey. I've been trying to do a human centipede 2 costume, but finding 50 friends is tough."
Yeah.
I feel like Scott Fish is like, but I call front.
I call fourth.
Absolutely. Got time for one more? Are we done with this game, Dale? Is that the end hypothetically?
That's let's do one more.
Let's do one more. We can fit one more in there. I'm having fun with this.
All right, guys. Here is your last hypothetically prompt for today. Take a trip with me. Close your eyes.
To the FanDuel Sportsbook?
Not to the FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going somewhere different today, Joe.
Okay.
You're in New England Patriots locker room after a particularly hard loss.
Okay.
All the players have showered, trickled out of the room, but you remain seated at your locker, still in your pads. Bill Belichick walks in, sits next to you. He lets out a groan or a sigh of air as he went from standing to the sitting position. He doesn't say anything. He just sits there. 10 seconds go by, 40 seconds, 60 seconds. Mm-hmm. You've been sitting here in silence. You look over at him and your eyes meet. They stay in shocked stasis for a moment. His mouth curls into a smile and he chuckles. What do you do?
I get up and leave. I was never supposed to be
This is weird. I'm out.
I really allowed myself to go there.
Me too. I felt uncomfortable. Like I was sitting there and I was like feeling uncomfortable. Man, so it's just us. That's what you said. It's just me and Belichick in the locker room, JL.
It's just you and Belichick. There's some other, random people around. They're just extras in your movie.
Have I showered, or is just everyone else showered?
You are still in your pads, but
I'm
most
still
of
in
the
my
other
pads.
team has
I could
showered.
shower with my pads on.
It's true. Yeah,
I
you
would
know
do
what?
that-
You are showered. You went and showered with your pads on. Now you're sitting at your locker,
Soaking
sopping
wet in your
Yeah.
pads. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I would do the thing where I put the finger to his mouth and just go, shh, no, and then just walk away.
So, in my
look-
imagination, go ahead, Joey. Sorry.
No,
didn't
but
mean
like,
to-
look hurt. Just it can't be. This is
No, not today.
It can't be. No.
So
Tommy's
in my
go in
imagination-
for the kiss.
Oh, first off, I'm in a Dolphins uniform, so I'm in the wrong locker room. I'm lost. I don't know why I'm there. I made a wrong turn. Something is horribly wrong, but I was too shy to say anything.
In your pads, fully showered.
In my pads, fully showered. Billy B comes down, sits there with a little groan. He's smiling at me for some reason. First red flag. Billy B does not smile. That man has never smiled in his life. So I know immediately that is not Billy B. That is somebody else impersonating Billy B.
Willing a Billy B skin suit.
Yeah.
Wearing.
Billy C. Billy D, because he's a demon. He is a demon, but this one's actually a demon. It's like his alter ego that just came out. There's not a chance in the world that I would be caught sitting there longer. 60 seconds, man. I'm risking my life every millisecond I'm next to that guy. His mouth curls up. It's the Grinch smile. I'm not about it. I take my pads off, smack him in the face because they're extra slick. I lubed him up in the shower to make sure I'm good to go. Smack him in the face and then slip as I try and run out. It's pretty embarrassing for me. I break 6 of my ankles because I now have 6 feet.
Of course.
And then I try and sprint out the door. I think that's how
On
that
your
would go
broken
for me.
ankles.
On my broken ankles. I start to make it, but then one of my ankles is a little bit longer than the rest, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. I don't tell people.
It's embarrassing.
But it's embarrassing. But Billy B is at this point shapeshifted into his true form, still with his twisted smile, which is kind of creepy. And he has grabbed that long ankle, and I'm being dragged back into literal hell, which is the Patriots locker room.
He's now like an 18-foot,
yeah, his torso
is massive, and he's like, in the corner is Shadow Monster.
yeah. And then
the
I
Babadook.
Yeah.
How does he kill you, Tim? How does he get you?
He opens up his fiendish playbook, and he pulls out the perfect play.
Oh no!
And the perfect play is. I don't want to get into detail, but long story short, I wind up as the new permanent mascot of the Patriots, but my mouth is sewn shut and nobody's happy about it.
Yes, Tim, I am. If you could type all this stuff for me, I'm writing this down for our Dungeons and Dragons campaign that is fantasy football themed for a boss fight. So keep going as much as you want. Just know you are going to have to fight this creation. You are going to battle whatever details you add here are going to come back to fight you at some point.
Simon's like, now what would you do if there was a dragon in the scene?
Oh man. Gosh, Mac Jones is just watching in the corner, just like in fear.
He's too afraid to say anything or step in. He's just watching like a kid watching their sibling get just wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in my scenario, but
I didn't quite. Tim went the demonic, fiendish approach. I went very much like the rom-com approach when I thought this. Like how I view this was like the end of them, like in a rom-com movie where like there's two people and like everything's gone wrong the entire night. Everything's been terrible. Everything that could possibly have changed. They stepped in the mud puddle. They dropped their phone. They were late to the meeting. They missed their flight. But then at the end of the movie, they're sitting there in the dark and they just look at each other. And that exact face that Bill gave me with the chuckle and the smile is what they always do. They look at each other and it's just this moment of recognition. Like that was hell, but we did it together. Like, but it's still me and you. We're still together. And so Bill looks at me. I let out the same little like you're right, Bill. And then I slide my hand over and I put it on his thigh to gauge his reaction. And I'm sitting there and I'm seeing what he does. And you know what he does? I'm positive of it.
What is this?
He just has this look of relief on his face. Like, I'm so glad you made that move because I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to. I was too nervous. And at that point, I know I am fully good to climb onto his lap and demand for him to airplane me, to lift me up in the air with his feet and arms in the locker room and do a full airplane, me and Billy B. And he's so strong. He's such a strong man.
Does he make the sounds?
Yeah, he makes the sounds. He goes, coming in for landing, and then he lowers me, and he smooches me on the forehead, and then he pushes me back up, and he flies me around some more.
What are you doing while he's doing it?
Oh, what am I doing while I'm doing it? Exactly, Tim. I'm doing that, and I'm making random, like, attention all passengers coming in for a landing. And there might be smooches on the landing, so make sure to fasten your seatbelts.
We are 15 minutes outside of LaGuardia.
We are 15 minutes outside of smooches with my lover, Billy B. That's what I'm doing. And
You just described the alternate ending to Dirty Dancing, by the way. I don't know, like, if you know that or not, but you did.
Well, that's what's happening.
And that's all I got to say about that.
I don't know which one's more terrifying.
Tommy said, throw water on him and see if he burns. It doesn't say give him a hug.
Give him a hug. And I like fantasy that Mac Jones is devastated watching this. Yeah. And then the worst part is
trauma.
Mac Jones is sitting there the entire time watching, and then Zappy walks in, and me and Bill are like, Zappy, come on over. Like, it's your turn. And Zappy's up there getting flown around. And I'm like, oh, it's turbulence. Like, I'm like shaking Zappy's feet while Bill's got him up in the air. And Mac Jones is just like teary eyed, not full on like scream crying, but there's just like tears rolling down his face on the other side of the locker room.
Silent in the
just
corner.
absolutely silent. We've
All
got
right,
Demon
Joey.
Bill. We've got Love Bill.
We got love Bill. Joey, give us our third Bill.
I already said what I was going to do.
You did?
I was just,
Did I
it's
forget?
unrequited love. I'm just pushing him away.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as these guys.
Joey says, we just can't have this love.
I
It's
just-
not meant to be. It's
I like
Romeo and
Tim's first
Juliet all
reaction
over
was,
again.
I leave.
I have found myself in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I should be getting out of here.
This is weird. I'm out.
A lot
Well
went
done,
wrong to get
guys.
here.
Good job.
That was a lot of fun.
That one got away from us.
Guys, coming up, we're going to
It's
be answering your
noon.
fantasy questions and breaking down this week's matchups. We got a bunch of good games this weekend. If you're enjoying what we're doing over here, head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Make sure you're subscribed, but hang out with us for the next 20 minutes here on Bettor Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, you know, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz basketball adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I detach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how was the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn bots.
Porn bots showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
Your wife did a good job.
yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about first vision, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. You're welcome, Joey. Glad to have you here. We had a question come in the chat. And guys, if you have fantasy questions for us or other questions, throw them in the chat and we'll be more than happy to answer some of these for you. Michael wanted to know, what's up, Michael? Welcome in. He said, traded Kamara, Diggs, and Amari Cooper for Kupp, Kelsey, and Kenneth Walker. Thoughts? JL, how do you feel about this trade? Alvin Kamara, Stephon Diggs, and Amari Cooper for Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelsey, and Kenneth Walker.
All right, let's break this down. Cup, Diggs, Wash. So let's just take them out. Kelsey, Kamara, or Zeke. So let's do the running backs, Kamara or Walker. I'd rather have Kamara, or I'm sorry, I'd rather have Walker at this point, but it is pretty close, also pretty much a wash. So this really comes down to Amari Cooper for Kelsey. I'd rather have the Cup Kelsey side. Much rather have Kelsey than Amari Cooper.
Dale, that was beautifully broken down. Yeah. Like I was unsure which side I was going on. You broke it down, and now I'm full confidence I'm on the Cup Kelsey Walker side. It makes sense. Yeah, I prefer the pieces on that side ever so slightly, but it's a wash. And then Kelsey versus Cooper, it's a no-brainer.
That's the difference maker. Yep.
Yeah.
Joe, you agree?
Trade, Michael. Oh, absolutely. That's position scarcity at tight end right now. To know that you have Travis Kelsey, yeah, well done. Well done.
Cooper's been great, though. I hate to downplay Cooper, but it's just not Travis Kelsey. Not Travis Kelsey.
No.
Tim, are you taking this trade or are you staying put?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree on your side, but I do think Cooper. It's a fun trade. That's a big trade. I like to see that. I think Cooper's been solid so far, and I think he's going to have a solid rest of the season too. But I mean, you hit the points. Kenneth Walker's showing up. He's playing incredibly well. The Seahawks playing well. So yeah, give me that side.
This might sound crazy, the question I'm about to ask, but Amari Cooper's success in this offense has come with Jacoby Brissett under center, right? Like we're seeing him with Jacoby Brissett, the connection he's got with Brissett, and his heavy usage in this offense is with Brissett. Now, we all assume Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett, but are you worried at all about Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson coming in just from like a chemistry perspective?
I'm worried about Watson. Honestly, it would have been almost 2 years since he stepped on a football field and played an actual game of football. Like, I don't expect him to come back and be Deshaun Watson. I mean, you can call me crazy, but maybe I'd just rather have Jacoby Brissett the rest of the season because I know what I'm going to get out of Amari Cooper. And I'm scared of what I don't know with Deshaun Watson coming back.
I think that's a fair reaction to have. There are a few quarterbacks in the NFL where I'd be as confident that he's going to come and plug right back in. The dude, just like from a talent perspective, he's built it. It's been forged in fire. He's one of the best NFL quarterbacks playing right now. But you're right. There's a lot of uncertainty there. I view it as a plus for Amari Cooper. There is definitely uncertainty that maybe they don't have the same rapport, but I think Deshaun Watson from going from Jacoby Brissett to Deshaun Watson is net positive for the Browns. I think that's a step up.
Yeah, I figure it's worth talking about because Amari Cooper's been so good with Jacoby Brissett when maybe that wasn't expected. A quarterback change can just change the dynamic of an offense and add that uncertainty. I think I agree, net positive for Amari Cooper, but it's not with 100% certainty that I say that. There is some confusion around what's going to happen once Deshaun Watson comes back. I ask you guys for some help in one of my leagues with a start-sit decision that I'm trying to make.
No.
It's tough sledding for me at the wide receiver position in this league, which is not how I generally build my teams. I love having like a stud wide receiver core and I figure out the running back. This one, I've got Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon at running back, so I'm good to go. But my wide receivers, I need to start 2 of these 3 players, so I need to sit one of them. Robert Woods, Darnell Mooney, and Hunter Renfrow. Right now, I'm planning on benching Hunter Renfrow just because this Raiders offense hasn't been great. But I don't have a ton of confidence in these other 2 guys either, Darnell Mooney and Robert Woods. Who would you be throwing on the bench?
Gross.
That's gross. I want to like Robert Woods, but like nothing that Malik Willis last week gave me any confidence in him supporting a wide receiver. Is even like a wide receiver 3.
50 passing yards didn't do it for you.
Not quite.
So yeah, I might actually bench Robert Woods in this. Because if Waller's out, Hunter Renfrow at least has an opportunity.
Someone backing up. Do you guys hear that? There's like a backing up beeping noise.
Yeah,
or am I going crazy?
Oh,
okay,
that's probably me.
I thought it was me because they've been like power washing outside my house, so I muted myself. And then Simon, you said that, and I was like, "Oh no,
it's because I know what it is. It's because Tim, you added all that height, so with that comes a backup sensor.
Yeah.
And so something's off, and it thinks you're backing up. You must be leaning back in your chair, and so the backup sensor is just
gotta be it.
It's got to be.
Someone's just cursing every 3 seconds.
Yeah, bleeping that out. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards benching I've got Renfro on there right now, but you're right. Malik Willis doesn't inspire confidence. Shale, do you have any confidence in Robert Woods?
Yeah, I'm some confidence in Robert Woods going against Kansas City, which has not been great against wide receivers.
Not at all.
I agree with you with the Malik Willis concerns. It's kind of what we expect, right? Wasn't like he came in as a first round talent that was just going to be immediately plug and play. We knew from even before he was drafted that he was going to need some development. I think Renfro is the guy you're benching, and then I would bench Woods.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough beans, but I think you're right. I think I got to bench Woods in there unless I can maybe there's something on the waiver wire I can scoop up to start over Robert Woods. Everyone watching, I want to remind everybody about a giveaway that's going on Bettor Sports Network today. Today there is an autographed DJ Moore full-sized helmet, and it is the sexy Black Panthers helmet that they are giving away. All you have to do is make sure you're following Bettor Sports on Twitter. They're on Twitter at Bettor Network. Like and retweet the tweet and have the app downloaded, and you could be the winner. It's going to be announced tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Rick Kamla Sports. I just want that DJ Moore helmet to add to my black DJ Moore jersey. I could add the black DJ Moore helmet, but I can't win. So somebody vicariously win for me. Somebody go win that helmet and then just let me live vicariously through you.
I'll try.
Tim, you'll try. Jail, you can't win either.
Damn it.
Tim, we were talking yesterday. If we want a full-sized helmet, it would be on our heads within 5 seconds of it arriving at the house. Like no matter who signed it, the helmet would be being worn for the rest of the day.
Without a doubt. And I'd probably bonk it against something just to see.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's be like, yep, it works.
It works. That's a helmet. Got it.
And you
Tim,
try and get it appraised. Like, why is there a scratch on it? It's like, I had to test it.
I had to test it.
I'm imagining you, Tim, wearing it for the full night, and you're refusing to take it off even to drink your beer. So you're like pouring the beer through the face mask of your helmet.
That's about right. I mean, if it's like an old Dolphins, if it's a Dan Marino signed old school Dolphins helmet, I'm not taking that off. I'm going to try and sleep in it because it's probably pretty comfy, actually. Yeah, my hair always gets messed up.
Is Dan Marino your favorite Dolphin ever, Tim?
I mean, it might actually be Jalen Waddle right now. Jalen's just the best. Just such a fun dude. Big
so
fan.
Fun.
I'd have to go back and look at some of the old players, but
it's not Jay Cutler.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Oh, Fitzmagic too. Man, we had some great backup quarterbacks. I can tell you.
You guys had the only one you're missing, like the Gardner Minshew on the Dolphins and the Blake Bortles, and then you get the full backup quarterback experience is what you got going on over there.
They got to make a band. That'd be great. The backups.
They do.
Who's the lead singer? Is it Jay Cutler, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Blake Bortles, or Gardner Minshew?
Gardner Minshew, without a doubt. And you can't hide this anywhere but lead singer. I mean, Fitzmagic, I could see him doing like a little monster on the drums. You know what I mean? Like he could easily do that.
Total
like
drum
style.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
His tongue is out the whole time.
Jay Cutler's playing the bass. I'm positive of it. Jay Cutler's in the back slapping the bass. He's the bass player of the group.
Yep.
And then who do we have left? We have Blake Bortles. What is Blake Bortles' job?
Dude, Blake Bortles can shred on the keyboard.
He
no guitar.
brings his synth and his drum pad. Blake Bortles is just like, don't worry, guys. He like sets all up.
Yeah. It's absolutely 80s themes, all synth.
And he's got one of the ones with like the tubes that you put in your mouth and you sing through it. It creates weird voice effects as he's playing the piano.
And
Joe Walsh
Gardner Minshew is still like hair metal, but the rest of the band is not about it.
It's synth with Gardner Minshew singing hair metal as the lead vocals, but with like 80s synth pop in the background.
Absolutely.
And all the synth is like way too much. He's got like 15 samples going on at once. It's just not coordinated at all.
He's just ripping 1,000 cigs a night. Just
his big band just letting out his big plume cloud.
Yeah, that's the fog machine. Blake Bortles in the fog machine.
Right in Gardner Minshew's face.
Oh man, that would be I'd go to see that show. That'd be great.
I would absolutely.
Man, we got to get Blake Bortles back in the league. Like this is just making me miss Blake Bortles. Those were some exciting times when Blake Bortles was the dude. Let's get Blake Bortles on the show and ask him to play synth for us. That's a great Keith. Get on it right after the Pope. I believe we've asked for
Obama.
The Pope. We've asked for Obama, and then Blake Bortles. If you could get him after those two, that would be great.
Those are all equal to me in my eyes.
The Pope, Obama, and Blake Bortles. Keith said, "Sure, guys." So keep your eyes peeled for whenever the Pope, Obama, Blake Bortles 3-way interview is coming to Bettor Sports Network.
Man, that would be a fun interview. I'd like that.
That would be pretty fun.
That would be a fun interview. Guys, I've seen a lot of questions this week asking about some of these low ADOT players that they're considering. I think it's bye-week fill-in. So I've seen a lot of Rondale Moore and Curtis Samuel questions coming in this week. Wondering about what to do with these guys. JL, whenever you're looking at Rondale Moore and Curtis Samuel, I think they have similar roles in their offense, how they're being used. Maybe players we didn't expect to be good this year. Which one would you prefer rest of season? Like if you're picking up a guy to start this week, they're on a lot of waiver wires. Which one are you holding on to?
Between Rondale Moore and Curtis Samuel?
Yes.
Oh, man. Curtis Samuel, since he's been back, it's not the worst. I guess he hasn't really missed a game. He's played in every game. But wasn't he injured in the middle of the season? Am I misremembering that?
Last year, right?
Wow, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just thinking of that offense. Yeah. Rondale Moore, his usage has held up. He got 8 targets last week, still playing 99% of snaps week 8. I think I'd rather have Rondale Moore. I really like this Cardinals offense right now.
Joey, what about you? Are you high on Rondale Moore rest of the year?
Yeah, it's Rondale Moore for me, and that's because of Taylor Heineke. I think his rapport is with Terry McLaurin, and we're not seeing the same love for Curtis Samuel. And I do like what I'm seeing out of Rondale Moore. It's been one of the surprises for me the last few weeks. So, yeah, it's Rondale Moore for me.
I was completely out on Rondale Moore. I thought
brought
he was
you back in.
I thought he was done. I thought, especially with the Dortch out there performing, I was like, oh, the Dortch has supplanted.
Man, that was fun.
That was fun, wasn't it? It was really fun to get some Dortch action. But now Dortch has been relegated and Moore is absolutely the guy. So I'm just still rolling with Rondale Moore. I think that's the direction I'm going as well.
Have you guys ever given analysis for a player, like just kind of like off the cuff and didn't really think it out and then just get blasted for it?
All the time. That's all my
this
analysis.
preseason. I was like, guys, I love Rondale Moore as a draft pick because he has a wonderful catch percentage. And then I got hit with like, have you seen the picture of the gif of the girl getting hit with hot dogs? It was like ADOT.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
In my Twitter comments, just hitting me in the face with the ADOT. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's why he catches them, because he's at the goal line every time.
Yeah, but it still doesn't matter. It's still a point in a PPR league. It doesn't matter what the ADOT is. You're still getting a point. 11 targets is 11 targets. I don't care if they're 5 yards up the field or 1 yard up the field. And that's what Rondale Moore is doing. He's getting that work done. Between him and DeAndre Hopkins, that offense is looking a little bit better with DeAndre Hopkins back. Has your opinion changed on these Arizona Cardinals with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins? Like, do you think they're a good team, a competitive team now? Because they didn't look that way before he was in there.
I was wrong about DeAndre Hopkins. Just in this offense in general. Like, well, maybe not wrong. Maybe wrong is the wrong way to put it, but I was worried that we were going to see him struggle to really carve out a target share on this team because he was struggling with it the last time we saw him play. But that is not the case, and this offense looks so much better. So for whatever, it seems like they're doing it right. They're leaning on their most talented players. So I am very bullish on this Arizona Cardinals offense.
I feel like as we see coaches' seats get hotter, we see the best players on the team get more involved. They stop trying to be cute and they start going, okay, save my job, DeAndre Hopkins, save my job, Kyle Pitts. You know what I mean? Like they just say, just give the ball to my best player every single play, and let's try to turn this around. Let's try to save this. That's what it feels like, right? Joe, you made the same comment with like Arthur Smith and Kyle Pitts yesterday when we were talking. Do you think it could be a same, like it feels similar with Cliff Kingsbury and DeAndre Hopkins back in this offense? He's like, fine. Give him the ball. I think that's
a big part of it, but I think Marquise Brown getting hurt when he did is contributing to DeAndre Hopkins getting as many targets as he's getting per week. He's playing great, absolutely. But if Marquise Brown was on the field, he wouldn't be getting 14 targets a game.
Because real quick, we had a question from Jake come in here. He wanted to know Josh Reynolds or Darnell Mooney this week. Josh Reynolds or Darnell Mooney. Joey, where would you be going on this one? Josh Reynolds or Darnell Mooney?
I'm gonna go Mooney, just because that Miami defense. It's been fun watching those games because they put some points up. So yeah, it's gonna be Mooney for me. I don't hate Reynolds as a start, but you've got Mooney, so roll with him.
There we go. Guys, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us this morning. Really appreciate it. We will be back on Monday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time for more of the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. But good news, this Sunday, we are live from up until game time, 2 hours before game time, from 11 to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So come hang out with us then for pre-gaming with Front Yard Fantasy. Until Sunday, though, we are out of here. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Adios.
Bye,
everybody.